and a man who had evaded this moment here today for far too long.
Montgomery County DA Kevin Steele moments ago. Fox's Gernal Scott is live at the courthouse in Norristown.
Lisa, Bill Cosby for now is subject to sentencing by a Montgomery County judge after being found guilty of 3 aggravated indecent assault counts. Gloria Allred represented 3 of the 5 additional accusers who testified against Cosby. They weren't here today, but Allred relayed their emotion.
Relief that the years of this toxic chain of silence has been broken, and we can now move forward.
DA Kevin Steele says it could take up to 90 days before sentencing is set, but the defense planning to appeal well before that, Lisa.
Gernal, one of Cosby's dozens of other accusers, Lily Bernard, says this verdict sends a message.
This jury has shown that what the Me Too movement has saying is that women are worthy of being believed.
The first jury had deadlocked last year, and this accuser, Andrea Constand, a former Temple University employee, had received a more than $3 million settlement from Cosby in a civil case a decade ago. New Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is on his way to Brussels for a NATO meeting tomorrow, just a few hours after being confirmed by the U.S. Senate and sworn in by Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. From Brussels, the State Department says Pompeo will head to the Middle East for meetings with Israeli, Saudi, and Jordanian leaders. Wall Street rallies, the Dow up 239 points at the closing bell. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us.
One small step for man.
The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fire to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Pay raises aren't enough. That's the message thousands of teachers are sending with a walkout in Arizona. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal with this live.
Lisa, Arizona's governor is proposing a 20% pay raise for teachers.
We've been kind of barely surviving for so long that when you hear something like that on the table, it was just hard to believe, but very encouraging.
Joe Howard's the superintendent for Prescott Unified School District, but it's not enough. Teachers want education funding levels back at pre-recession levels, which would take an extra $1 billion. They've been posting pictures to social media showing decrepit conditions at various schools. Governor Ducey issued a statement before the walkouts today, asking parents to pressure lawmakers to pass at least that 20% raise, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. Thousands of teachers also rallying in Colorado for more school funding. On Take Your Kids to Work Day, White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders getting some tough questions from reporters' kids after Dr. Ronnie Jackson withdrew his nomination for VA secretary.
The president has a great deal of respect for Admiral Jackson. He's a terrific guy, really likes him a lot. And hates what has happened over the last several days.
Jackson denies allegations of misconduct. A new statement seems to suggest suicide in the death of a superstar DJ.
The family of Avicii released a second statement illuminating the DJ producer's inner struggles. The 28-year-old's family called the superstar DJ a seeker, a fragile artistic soul searching for answers to existential questions, writing, "Our beloved Tim was an overachieving perfectionist who traveled and worked hard at a pace that led to extreme stress. He really struggled with thoughts about meaning, life, happiness." The family then states he could not go on any longer. He wanted to find peace.
Fox's Michelle Polino. Avicii was found dead last week in Oman. No cause of death has been released. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway. Make it what you want.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. My name is Jesse Cruz from the village of Maina, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Tanomo. Protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions. Lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network, we humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any two toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The controversy over how quickly an area in Barrigada Heights was cleared for road access, even without the proper permits, has deepened. The road clearing provides access to parcels of formerly inaccessible land under the Chamorro Land Trust inventory. Lots are available for as low as $1 a year for up to 99 years. Acting DPW Director Andy Leon Guerrero confirming that Land Management, which runs the CLTC program, asked DPW to clear a 40-foot wide access road into the area. DPW dispatched heavy equipment to do that, and clearing began, but Leon Guerrero says that the work was stopped after Guam EPA advised that neither the Department of Agriculture or Guam EPA itself had signed off on the required permits. There are about 8,000 applicants for this Chamorro-only land lease program, and many of them have waited more than 20 years to reach the front of the list. About 28 people received CLTC lots in Barrigada Heights, among them DYA Director Peter Alexis Atta, who told the Post yesterday that he's been on the CLTC waiting list since 1995. He got a call telling him he'd received 2 acres in the area. He said he didn't choose the property himself. It was chosen for him. Atta said he didn't know that the roadway into the area was being cleared until recent news reports. He said he plans on transferring the rights to the property to his children. Senator Regine Bisco-Lee also confirming she was the recipient of one of the lots. She issued a statement to the media yesterday explaining that her mother, who had been on the list since '95 as well, was assigned the lot, and her mother in turn gifted it to the senator. The senator said she's calling for an investigation to learn why the roadway was cleared without the proper permits. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. also calling on Land Management for an explanation. We'll have more news after this.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
GTA's best internet deal has arrived. With fiber internet, you get up to 50 megabits of data per second for only $50 per month. And if that's not enough, Fiber Internet 50 plan includes free Wi-Fi. But this offer will only last through the month of April. So sign up today and get ready for faster downloads, more streaming, a better gaming experience, and a stable connection across multiple devices. Conditions may apply. Visit GTA.net for more details. GTA, your island, your network.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Drugs, cash, and guns were recovered during a raid on Wednesday on a unit in the Casa de Flores apartments in Agana Heights. The Mondaña Drug Task Force and SWAT officers executed a search warrant after receiving information about suspected illegal drug activity at the apartment. They arrested 42-year-old Enrique Harris Guerrero on allegations of drug possession and distribution. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau reporting that inside the apartment they found about 20 grams of marijuana, 1.5 pounds of methamphetamine, some ecstasy, and 5 doses of LSD, as well as $3,300 in cash. They also seized a Savage Arms bolt-action rifle, a Glock 19 9mm handgun, a Super Mac 22, and ammunition. At the time of his arrest, Guerrero was on pretrial release in connection with other firearm and drug charges stemming from a 2017 criminal case. Another $13 million in tax returns will be going out on Monday. The governor's office announcing yesterday that about 2,700 tax refund checks will be going out, covering returns filed up through February 4th of this year. This will be only the third release of 2017 tax refunds, all of which have occurred this month. 10 million in returns have been sent out in each of the past 2 weeks. With Monday's release of 13 million, that will raise the total to 33 million in refunds sent out, exceeding the commitment made by Acting DOA Director Edward Byrne at his confirmation hearing earlier this month, who said that he hoped to authorize the release of at least 25 million this month. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray with some weather.
Well, thanks very much. Let's take a look at it. Partly sunny skies today, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms this morning, then isolated showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Daytime highs might creep up near 88 with a maximum afternoon heat index of about 100 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight and tomorrow with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Improving weather by Sunday. Overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Daytime highs are going to be 88 degrees. We've got the weather map up on the Fox, the Facebook Live, and with a discussion, a synopsis, if you will, is Michael Knight. So what do you look at when you see this map?
So we're at just a little above center, direct center in this picture here. The rain they're talking about coming over there to the right. You can see that big blob of reds and yellows. Just a trade wind disturbance, as they call it. Convergence is the technical term for that. So that's going to move through starting tonight and through tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Then Sunday, it should start getting better into next week.
Gotcha. So we've got convergence here. Earlier in the week, we had vorticity.
Yeah, well, there's still some vorticity, but that's down south. Oh, yeah, that's hanging. And really, that's what they call a near equatorial trough of low pressure. That's actually, it's spun up. If I don't know, you can't pull the map up, but there's a thing called 93W Invest down to the south of us. Yeah, that blob of stuff there. And so, you know, it's not going to develop, but it's just signs that the things are changing out there.
Gotcha. Things change.
I'm not going to use the T word.
Gotcha. 6:35 is when sunset can be expected tonight. Sunrise just about 6 o'clock. We were walking around here about 5:45, and somebody said, "Hey, the sun's up already." Yeah, got the gray line working here. 6:13. That's news and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Portions of the program brought to you by King's Restaurant for 40 years, serving favorites to Guam's families just like yours. They keep doing it. They'll do it all weekend long if you like. King's, always open, always local.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Luis Muña on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
So how do you know you actually owned the property that you just bought? Well, if you had everything gone through security title, you would be resting assured that you actually owned that property.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Some people call it Friday, and I got other people on my chats and on my links this morning that said, no, do something different today. Call it Friday. Friday. Okay, so F-R-I-Y-A-Y. Hey, listen, it's what everybody else is thinking. It's just putting it in a different way to look forward into this weekend. And what a great weekend I think it's going to be. We'll talk about some of the things that are going to be going on over the next couple of days. And my list, I guarantee, is going to be incomplete. My list will be incomplete because, I'm shallow and superficial. If you've got some other details about events that you've got coming up this weekend, low cost, no cost for families, 888-8255. That number again is 888-8255. Welcome to the program. It's the Ray Gibson Show here on 93.3, The Point. And if you're wondering what kind of songs we play here on this radio station, on this FM station, we don't play any songs. It's just some non-copyrighted music that gets us into and out of commercial breaks. And the only reason why we do that is to stay above the codes and the rules for certain streaming sites. So yeah, this is not going to be one of those musical powerhouses. Our big hits at this radio station is talk and stories and the storytellers, the movers, the shakers, the headline makers. And we've had a rather busy week. Walked into the studio this morning, and Kevin Kerrigan says, never a dull moment. And I think that's about right. I think that's about right. I think, it's every day this week there's been something that we can talk about. Hey, how about that Jamar Land Trust property up in Barragata Heights?
Wow.
It just started with a little bit of a road clearing there and some residents down at the bottom saying, ever since they cleared that land up there, there's been flooding. And so why are they clearing that land up there? Oh, it's Jamar Land Trust properties. Really, leases going out up in the Tony neighborhood of Barragata Heights where the homes are going for close to $1 million.
And nobody told the Guam EPA or Department of Ag.
Hey, and that was the first of the steps. And all of a sudden, people start looking around and saying, well, gee, I wonder who on the Chamorro Land Trust list is now lined up with these properties, these $1-a-year properties for $1 million years. And there's a list. There's an entire list in this morning's Daily Post. Shall we? Peter Alexis ad. I know that guy. Rosita Mahoney, / Regine Bisco Lee. There's Zana Tagawa, Joseph Bragg, John Hui, Vicente Duenas, Joy Lynn Munoz, Gabrielle Cruz, Mariah Borja, Grace Babauta. And if I call your name, you've got 10 minutes to call the radio station to win your prize. I'm just kidding. I just thought I'd pop that in. Karina Andre, Jeffrey Sanchez, Maria Camacho Cacao, Marilyn Guerrero, Derek Kowalski, Derek Sablan Kowalski. You can be a Kowalski and get Chamorro Land Trust land? Can I be one? I'm a Gibson. I should be able to get some,
that
right?
should be
Okay.
possible.
Junie Blas. Hey, that's the mayor. Carl Eugene Castro. Chelsea A. Sonia F. Guerrero Sepla. Hana Tagawa. And Glenn E.A., see Robert Bautista, Jesse Bautista, Jane Ace, Teresas, Jermaine Kitigua, Sherilyn Gumabon, and Linda Perez. Those from Department of Land Management documents. And so there might have been a couple of names there that maybe raised an eyebrow. And including Regine's own eyebrows. Really, I'm on the list. And there's paperwork that went out that details, among other things, in September, apparently she was written by Governor Calvo, who was apologizing because it's taking a little bit longer to lease to you because 11 senators voted against the governor's efforts to approve rules and regulations. This is in September 17th of 2005. Regine says that on October of 2015, October of 2015, the land was then transferred. No, she got the lease, and then it was transferred.
Her mother
to her.
got it, and then was transferred to her.
Okay, in October then of 2016, it was transferred to her.
Yeah.
And she's now saying, yeah, it's interesting now that all of these names are on the list, and there is the appearance of improprieties, and she is asking the Attorney General and the OPA to look into these appearances of improprieties and make sure that all of these transactions and all of the maneuvering, the bubbling, if you will, of because you can't apply for a specific plot. You know, I guess you get what you get, right? And so all of a sudden, all of these people have managed to bubble up to the top of the list, and now the available properties are in Barrigada Heights. And so people are asking the questions about all of this and saying, wait a second, where are we going to be heading?
And all of this could have been avoided if they had just used security title.
You know, you know what? I don't know. Maybe that's something we ought to ask him. Is it just how much of this? Well, we know that they're Chamorro Land Trust properties, right. So you know the presumption is that the government of Guam has clear title to be able to make these $1 a year leases as they sort through all of this. But it is an interesting story, and I have to agree with Regine on this. There is the appearance of impropriety. You got a sitting senator, members of the administration, both the mayor and vice mayor are on the list, and it just looks hinky. And people got to look at it and sanitize this and unhinky it as quick as possible because it's an election year. This is one of those. This has the potential to be one of those things that could derail a political career if it is not handled correctly. And so yeah, let's see just how quickly the Attorney General can turn around on this thing and come up with some kind of an opinion, one way or the other. The other big news is $13 million in tax refunds are going out again. It was last Friday, last week, I guess. We told you there was $10 million that were going out, and we were expecting another $10 million that should have gone out Monday this week, and now $13 million has been added to that. So
$33 million.
$33 million in tax refunds going out in the last fortnight here on Guam. In the last 2 weeks, we have seen tax refunds going out. For those of you that filed your returns on about February the 4th, you should be covered in this. And I was with somebody last night when you sent me the word that we got another $13 million going out. And she says, when does it go to? I said, reading through the thing, it says February the 4th. And then she said a word that I can't repeat on the radio because she's not.
She filed on the 5th.
She's not a February. Yeah, other than the 4th, other than sometime between February the 4th and now was when she filed. So it might take them a little while to punch through all of that. But there's money floating around this town. $33 million. You don't normally see that kind of money just willy-nilly, just all over the place in this town, unless there's a typhoon and here comes the Red Cross and all the insurance companies. That's some significant dough that's traveling around here, and I'm wondering what the multiplier on the spend is. Are we starting to see that money get spent several times in the process? Oh, Andre Bainham's online. Andre, call Call the radio station, Andre, 888-8255, Andre, 888-8255. They have finally, as I understand it, finally finished 3.5 days worth of conversation over at the legislature and trying to sort out whether we have confidence in John Fernandez and the Department of Education's ability to punch through the procurement and finally, and for once and for all, fix Simon Sanchez High School.
It's in the voting file.
Right? Right. So it's going to come down to the legislature and whether or not they're going to grant him, whether all 15 members of the legislature have got the confidence in John Fernandez to be able to do this. You know, if it was just me, if it just, us and John Fernandez, I'd say yeah. Right? But John's not the only guy at DOE. And there's any number of other people that work for John that could totally screw this thing up and make it worse than it already is.
The only thing is that even if they do approve this bill, they're going to have to wait until after the protest is resolved in Superior Court before they can do anything.
Right? And so it just feels a little bit like rearranging the furniture at this point, saying, okay, well, once this is done, then we can have somebody else take a stab at it or, just resolve the issue. At the end of the day, though, this needs to be something that we get really good at because we suck at procurement in this town. I mean, can you think of any year where we have not had a story, something major hang somewhere because somewhere along the way there was a misstep in the procurement, somebody did something that they weren't supposed to do, or they opened the bids wrong, or whatever it was, and then we cannot move forward on something as obvious and as needed as the rescue of the students at Simon Sanchez from the lack of maintenance, deferred maintenance, etc. on that particular property.
To me, that just indicates a fallacy in the process. I mean, if it's something that keeps surfacing, then there's something in that process that's just not quite right.
It's procurement, right? And I am never ever going to pretend. When we start talking procurement, then I start talking. I will tell you, I'll give you a specific number to dial and one guy to call. His name is John Thomas Brown. John has literally written the book on procurement on Guam. It's 2 inches thick, right? And I think it's a massive multi-megabyte download if you're able to find it on the web. Like I said, literally wrote the book on procurement on Guam, and it's a big thing with lots and lots of moving parts. But if you screw up on just one of these moving parts, and the idea here is, we go out and we talk to businesses about giving us the best deal for the taxpayers. And so we do this, and what will happen is somebody will do something that appears to favor another one of the, one bidder over another bidder. And if I'm in business and I'm not the guy that feels like I got the favor, guess what? I'm going to protest.
But that could be something as simple as just not being chosen for the job.
Exactly. But on what grounds? On what grounds?
Exactly.
We've seen protests. In fact, there was one, I don't want to say famous one. It was amusing at the port because the port wanted to get a certain kind of truck, and they came right down to it and specified the color paint on the vehicle. Well, there is only one company in the business that paints their vehicle that color. So it looked like they'd put the bid together to favor that one manufacturer who is represented by one company here. And if it doesn't, why would the paint job of the vehicle have anything to do with the functionality of the vehicle or its purpose or its price? And so those are the kinds of things that get tossed into these protests, into these bids that turn into protests. And I don't know whether they ever resolve that at the port. Like I said, it was interesting to me just because it came down to the color. And you'd think after all of the protests, after all of the debates that we've had in this town, they would have gotten better at that because, frankly, that's easy to spot. That's like sending drugs through the mail. It was easy for us to see. 6:28 in the morning, and there's that story. There's a couple of other ones. The gubernatorial forum finally got off yesterday up at Teeds and Hyde. Not as crowded as we thought it was going to be. We knew that Carl and cousin Fred weren't going to be there, but I guess Frank and Alicia either went and couldn't stay, or they couldn't go. What was it?
Well, Senator Uggan couldn't go because he was presiding over the
hearing for Sanchez.
Exactly.
Okay, so he couldn't. Did Alicia go? Do we know?
No.
Okay, all right. So it was just Lou and Josh and Ray and Tony, and that was it. That was it. Oh, Dennis. Dennis Rodriguez was there. He's small. I forget him. So Dennis was there. But so they're asking these guys, what it is that they want to do. And Ray Tenorio says, free education. We're going to get you free college education. And Bernie Sanders say that. I think that him and Hillary were fighting over who could say free more in a debate online once upon a time. So I don't know about that. We were saying when we were talking about the free Wi-Fi, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And if you're getting a free education, that means somebody else is paying for it, or the people that are paying for it are paying more to subsidize your free education. But what if everybody's paying for it free? Well, I guess that means the taxpayers are going to be paying for somebody's free college education or GCC education. Or whatever. So I'm interested, Ray, in hearing a little bit more about your plan there. Dennis Rodriguez wants to expand health care for all Guam residents. And it was Lulian Guerrero, in my mind, that came out with the most sober thought when they were asking about, well, what about you? What free thing are you going to give me? And she says, I like what these guys are talking about here, but we can't do anything until we start getting the money that is already owed to the people of Guam in the form of taxes. So she wants to put together the unit of at the Department of Revenue and Taxation and Compliance agents that would go out there and get that money from the cockfights and from the casino and from the game rooms and all the people that might be dealing in cigarettes that aren't taxed appropriately. There's lots of money, as has been pointed out many times by Lou and others, people in the chamber, that say stop raising the taxes and stop raising the fees on everything and stop making it more expensive for just regular people to live here, because there are some that aren't pulling their end of the load by not paying the taxes. So that's all interesting stuff. It's not the only thing that we may cover, that we may discuss today. 888-8255 is the telephone number here on the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. We've got time right now for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 32 minutes past 6 a.m. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the attorney for the Guam Contractors Association and 11 other businesses on island is asking the U.S. District Court to hold the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service in contempt and impose sanctions against the federal agency for continuing to deny H-2B petitions from Guam employers seeking skilled foreign labor for non-military construction projects. Attorney Jeff Joseph filing a motion this week in Guam's district court charging USCIS with continuing to deny H-2B petitions despite a preliminary injunction in January requiring them to reverse their previous denials and stop the blanket denial of future petitions, and despite the court's decision on March 31st to grant class action status to the lawsuit. During the past month, the attorney said Guam Advance Enterprises, a potential class member, has received 3 notices that its petitions for 3 H-2B visas have been denied. Joseph says that USCIS told him they believe the class certification applies only to the ultimate final judgment and not the previously issued injunction, but he counters that the court order is clear and he wants the federal agency held in contempt. Joseph John Untalan Mesa named in a federal complaint filed in the district court after he received a package of mail that contained 56 grams of crystal meth. Authorities discovered the package and did a controlled delivery where Mesa was seen picking up the package and opening it. When an alert came from the beeper transmitter inside, law enforcement approached the Chalanpago residence and Mesa fled the scene with the package in hand. He was later found hiding in the jungle with the contents of the package. Mesa currently has a pending criminal case and a civil lawsuit for a 2016 arrest after he was shot in the buttocks by an airport police officer when he refused to pull over when ordered by police to do so. 2 women charged in a conspiracy to promote major prison contraband at the DOC prison were sentenced to 3 years yesterday. Yolanda Megofna and Jezebel Kinata received the minimum sentence as provided for in their plea agreements. Kinata is accused of giving crystal meth to former Attorney General's office staffer Joaquin Regis to give to inmate Yolanda Megofna during a visitation. The 3-year sentence is to be served concurrent to Mugofna's current sentence on separate criminal charges. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think I will. 6:34 is iConnect time. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
Don't dump that cooking water down the sink. You can reuse it for other purposes, such as watering your plants or garden. After boiling pasta or steaming veggies, let the water cool and then recycle away.
Catch more clean and green living tips every day and get inspired to make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Happy Earth Month from the stations of Choice Broadcasting.
Brought to you in part by Leo Palace Resort Guam. Come to our home and be part of our story. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram for special promotions every month.
So there's a guy on Facebook that's calling you the White Barry White.
I've been called that before.
And in honor of Earth Month, it's time for fish fans to celebrate the return of Wendy's Cod Filet Sandwich. Wendy's uses wild-caught North Pacific cod, breaded with panko crumbs. In fact, what they did here was they taught these guys out in the North Pacific to learn how to fish with the talaja.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're using the talaja, right? From this part of the world there in order to catch these North Pacific cod, which is a better way to catch them. The food tastes better that way. Then they bread it up with panko bread crumbs directly from Japan into a light crisp. They drizzled that with a creamy dill tartar sauce, and then they put crispy pickles on it because it gives... That's the bacon sound, but it's okay. It's okay. So pickles and tartar sauce and fish go together like teenagers in crime. Wendy's cod filet, now that's better.
Summer's right around the corner, but first shifting to spring with Triple J. With 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in, now is the time to buy. Get into our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $217 per paycheck. Car and Drivers 10 Best Mazda CX-9 at $242 per paycheck. The Mazda 3 Sedan at only $137 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord at only $216 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
That was fast. All right, got a note from somebody who says, stop saying it goes together like teenagers in crime. Okay, goes together like politicians in crime. How's that? 6:36 in the morning and time for a look at traffic. There is nothing happening on your roadways at this time. It's early. The sun has come up. Might be a little bit of rain and slick left over from early morning showers, but it doesn't seem to be slowing anybody down. There is a line of traffic that is beginning to build just before you get to the intersection of 8, 10, and 16. If you are on 8 already, if you are coming out of the Fatima Street and towards the intersection of Route 1 and 3, traffic beginning to build up there, but traffic beginning to build on the opposing street. I guess it's a lot of people trying to figure out how to make that turn into NAS earlier this morning. It's a NCS earlier this morning. It's 6:36. That's right now traffic on the point.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
All right, a little programming note here. The 8:30 headlines will be delivered by yours truly because Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post will be, what did you say, on assignment? On assignment. Where are you headed? You get that thing, right? The Bank of Guam thing?
Bank of Guam.
Okay.
Economic report.
So you are going, she's online right now. And Mel, you're welcome to call in as well. Melanie wrote on her Facebook last night. Where's the thing? Where's the post here? Where is it? I was just looking at it a second ago. Time out. She was writing about... You know, it's there when you need it. That's the thing. That's the suck of the internet, right? It's just, as soon as you want something, then it goes slowly.
Somebody else posts something different.
Well, in this case, come listen to me wax poetic about the economy at the Bank of Guam Economic Outlook Forum. And I guess she's going to be a panelist there representing the University of Guam Endowment Foundation, their executive director. So I imagine for those of you that are going to be at the Dusitani today, the thing starts in like an hour until about 10:30 this morning so everybody can get back to work. work, and she might tell you about something important like the endowment, and this is what you have to do, and you have to give me money before I leave.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah,
because I don't have the agenda yet. I don't know what's happened.
well, you know what? I don't know exactly when she's going to be speaking, but I'll see if I can. Can I just give it? Can you just look at it?
Yeah, okay.
It's hard to share things when it's on Facebook. The share makes it so that you can share on Facebook, but it's kind of tricky to share outside of Facebook from time to time. But while I'm talking about it, let me just do a quick shout to the people that are online already. There's Janelyn Leon Guerrero. Great to have you there. She's also over at the BOG. Dennis Borja, chiropractor buddy of mine. Tommy Aguero. Yeah, he says... he's talking, but he's enamored with your voice here. Keeps talking about Kevin's voice. He says he's got that voice that'll sweet talk even the most stubborn duk out of its shell in a heartbeat. Do you know what that?
He's listening to Mike.
Do you know what that refers to?
I have no clue.
Okay, so
I'm new here.
So you go to you've been here a year. You got to stop saying that. You've been here you're new at the station. You've been here for a while. So you go to the beach and you see these little crabs walking around, right?
Yeah.
And you pick them up and they go back into their shell.
Mm-hmm,
Those are called duk.
Okay.
Okay. And so the thing, if you want to get them out of the shell, you pick them up and you hold them close to your face and you go duk. Right?
Yeah.
That's also the Ray Gibson mating call. So if I come up to you in your ear, ladies, and go duk. But that is supposed to it's the combination of the sound and the warmth of your breath that will draw the duk out.
Will they grab your lip when they pop out of the shell?
Some will do that. The evil hammerhead shark ones will do that. Andy Tedinko, I see Greg, I see Catherine CN there. Melanie Mendiola, like I said, is on the Facebook Live this morning. Ramona Nakamura, Brad Hewitt, Yoichi Rangel from over at the University of Guam, Maria Arroyo, I hope I said that right, Andre Bainham, Charlene Marchessault, Valerie Lynn, waiting for me to say Frank Bloss-Uggan's name again, and then there's Jimmy Martinez. Hey, cuz. Jules Elmer, good to have you on the program. Uncle Carl and Auntie Jerry have got the radio on, and they tell me that Uncle Carl, Auntie Jerry, and Carla always have the radio playing, so it's like in surround sound at the house. Amanda Shelton, Senator, is going to be there. James Howard, Lynn Vince, Borja Polina, Danny Taiting Fong, Sister Shelley, and the list goes on and on. Only one that's not on Facebook Live this morning is Tom the Hammer Adda.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
Buenas, Jen Hoffaday.
Hoffaday. I like that duk. As you were talking about it, I couldn't help but kind of look back during my encounters with the duk.
Yeah.
Of course, when you're young and you don't know any better, you hold it too close to the lip, and yes, Kevin, it does reach out and grab you on the lip.
That's a good time. But once you get them out of the shell, you know what the fun thing to do is put them in your friend's shorts.
There's one way to get even. Eat them.
That's a dance. I know some people that have. I've seen people that will entice them out of the shell and then pop them in the mouth. But I've never been that brave. So because if you do it wrong, there's a certain gooey factor from the inside of the deal. But yeah, that brings back great memories. So just before you leave the house, just go up to Mrs. the Hammer and just whisper in her ear and go duk. And see what happens. I'm sorry, it's kind of a Friday, so a little frisky going on in here. Hey, you've been busy over at the legislature, huh?
Yeah, we have to get through those 23 of those bills by today because so that then the staff can complete the engrossment of the bills, and most likely, well, I'm sure we're going to come back Monday afternoon, possibly, to vote on the bills, because then the next day there's the State of the Judiciary, followed on Wednesday by the state funeral.
So it's we got a tzaddik today. Hurry up, and then on Monday, punch through some of the votes.
Actually, we have to vote on all the bills, but I think we're moving along. Probably the one that took the longest was Bill 204, related to the Simon Sanchez High School construction. So we were in that for like almost 2.5 days.
Right, I've seen it as high as 3.5 days, depending on who's doing the counting here. So it was a long time going over that measure. And so, what is your sense of the body after hearing from that? I mean, I talked with John Fernandez about it yesterday. He's more than willing to take on the role and the responsibility. But is there? You think there's going to be consensus among the body that GDOE is up to the task?
I think there will be it, and John Fernandez made the one statement that says, "Look, we can do it if you give me the flexibility and the tools." And so I think in the bill, it gives him the flexibility by being able to take this entire project to ultimately finish with a new Simon Sanchez High School by allowing him to take it in incremental phases. Start off with the architectural and engineering so that we can clearly define what is this school that we're going to build, giving him the flexibility to be able to go out there and hire an owner's agent engineer who really would be the technical guy that would be contracted, whose sole purpose in life is to formulate those solicitation documents, put it out, evaluate the proposals that are received, and make its recommendations to the superintendent and the evaluation committee, and all that. So that's the flexibility that he's being given. And then he... I lost my train of thought.
So the flexibility is obviously an important thing, but will that additional flexibility, Senator, would that be potential bidders, people that would be trying to get their share of the business in this renewal, if you will, of Simon Sanchez High School? Will that give rise to any potential conflict?
I don't think so, because. And of course, and then the other part of the superintendent's request was, give me the tools to be able to do that. So I think that by allowing him to hire this owner's agent engineer and to be able to pay for those services, out of these funds that were to be set aside for the rental, the leaseback payments of the school, I think that's going to give him the tools that he needs. And of course, in the bill, it was stated that everything that we do is going to be in compliance with the procurement law. So there's nothing in that bill that really sidesteps the procurement law. If you recall, the last three protests was not because of a flawed piece of legislation. It was because the implementation of the legislation was done improperly. The first time when one of the bidders says, "Can I see the records of the discussions that took place?" and he goes, "Oh, we didn't take notes, we didn't keep records," and the procurement law clearly requires that.
Right.
The second time around, they combined in the bid. They combined the construction of the school as well as the maintenance of the 35 other schools. The law was very clear. You're not going to do that. And then in the third time that it got protested, they made the solicitation document made reference that the construction project will take place in accordance with the attached performance contract, with the attached ground maintenance contract, etc. So one of the offerers says, "Okay, can we get a copy of those contracts?" And DPW came back and said, "No, because we don't have a draft of it yet." So I'm hoping that with this latest round now, basically what that bill has accomplished is that it now the DOE is going to take ownership of this project to build its school, and then he has been given additional tools and the flexibility move about with it.
It's just kind of spooky if DPW, with all of their experience in procurement and procurement matters, were making those kinds of missteps that you just illustrated. Though, with a lack of experience, is it possible? And I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. You know how I feel about John and the students at Simon Sanchez. I just want to make sure that we're not trading the demon that we know for the demon that we don't know.
No, I still have full confidence in DOE being able to do this, and again, the difference here, I think, is that under the old arrangement, the construction of GDOE really was one of many collateral duties. In this case, with Bill 204, the construction of DOE is going to be the sole purpose in life for this owner's agent engineer that's going to be hired, and of course will have the available to him the input and assistance of the DOE's procurement staff and the staff from the other agencies that are part of the evaluation committee.
Well, I hope whoever this owner agent representative is somebody that might have taken the class that you and John Thomas Brown had put together, or should be instructed to do so that they don't make any obvious missteps. Let me switch gears into a little bit of conversation about utilities. My friend Peter sent me an article about a conversation that JB had with Senator San Augustine based on your bill, your measure that would rezone 3 lots up in Ukadu and Dededo, so a power plant can be built up there. If I understand the way this reads, there will not be a rate hike because of the new power plant up in Dededo if the site gets rezoned.
That's right, and that was a very good question from the senator, and basically where GPA is coming from is that the potential rate hike would really be offset by the savings that GPA will be able to achieve. For example, the new power plant that is anticipated to be put in will be a newer, more efficient machine. And so the requirements for fuel to burn will be a lot less than those 50-year-old power plants down at Cabras that are going to be retired after this. So there's going to be savings to be achieved from that.
And so they'll pass those savings on to the consumers, so we won't necessarily have to pay any additional costs based on the construction. We shouldn't have to eat up a whole lot of additional fuel charges as well because of the higher efficiency of the machines.
That's right. And so those savings will basically be used to offset, the debt service that will arise from the construction of this new power plant. There's other savings that will be achieved. For example, there's that power plant, the MEC, the one right by the old USO. That's going to be returning to GPA, I believe, in the next couple of years. So under that scenario, GPA will no longer have to pay what they call the capacity charge to this company, MEC, because now that asset will belong to GPA. And that represents about, I believe, another $20 million a year. There's another power plant, Temis. The fact that the plant is going to be constructed at the proposed site, we will no longer have those the line losses, which amounts to about $1 million a year.
In the transmission and distribution, right? So it's what do you say? It's there's less resistance for the electricity to go through a longer set of wires, so we can take that loss and turn that into something that will drive revenue.
That's right, and a lot of these savings that GPA is counting on are not probabilities of what we might be able to save. I mean, they will save those things. So from that, they'll be able to offset. There's other new the renewable energy power plants that are coming online that's certainly going to offset a lot of the, ups and downs of the cost of fuel. So, yeah, I'm feel confident that GPA will be able to put this plant in place and keep the power rates from rising because of the savings that will arise from other.
So I gotta tell you, because you're not on the Facebook Live thing, but at least Jim commenting here, GPA giving savings. Where is that going to happen? We have to wait until after the construction. We've got everything has to go in order. We rezoned the Ukadu properties, then we build this new fancy plant that burns 5 different kinds of oil and LNG and all of that stuff, and we combine that with solar. There are certain benefits from the construction and placement of these new utility features that will drive savings, and then you give that back to me in the form somehow of lower rates. I'd sure like to see that. Hey, just if you have a comment on it, and if not, that's okay. I talked with Joey Duenas for a little bit over the last couple of days, and we were talking about a report that came out from the Public Auditor's Office yesterday, day before, that said that they're losing about 60% of all of the water that they generate to theft, to malfunctioning meters, and to leakage, and that accounts for about $4 million. That's still is $4 million. What are your thoughts on that as a utility guy?
And well, I'm not surprised.
Because Joey didn't seem to be all excited or bothered about it.
No, because we've known, GWA has known about that for the longest time, because we have infrastructure out there that's been in place since, the Navy turned it back to us back in the early 50s.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we just on the meters, as an example, the radio read meters, and we went through this process of changing out all of the old ancient ones and then putting these new radio read meters in. And my recollection is they had a pretty high failure rate from the get-go. And didn't we change those out as well?
Yeah, they did. And
and so I'm wondering, why are we still getting malfunctioning meters?
No, I think a lot of the unaccounted for water, was largely attributed to non-functioning meters. So we really weren't we know that we pumped out, let's say, 1 million gallons from the water wells, but what we're billing was a lot less than that. And that was attributed largely to the malfunctioning meters. I believe a lot of those meters have been changed out. But, meters go bad, and so that's a continuing process of changing out meters. But probably the bigger contributor is the fact that you have these old leaking lines.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are some of their more creative customers who may figure out how to, hook up before the meter.
Right. Theft of property, theft of service. I get it. All right, just wanted to go over a couple of those points. Listen, I really appreciate your time. You guys got a busy day ahead of you at the legislature. As you say, you got to punch through a bunch more bills today, and then get to work on sending the vote out on Monday. Hope there's the opportunity here not to move quickly on important measures.
Oh no, we're moving about it deliberately, and I'm sure that even if we have to come in on Saturday, the Speaker will make that call.
Saturday work, yay! Call me if you need me. I'll be happy to send one of my guys over. Keep an eye on what you're doing. 6:57. That's Senator Tom the Hammer Adda. Don't forget what I said. Don't forget. Duck. That's so cool. Yeah, being a little kid growing up on Guam, that's fun. My gizmo is off. Who's this on line two? My name is Ray. What's yours?
Hey, Ray. This is Michael.
Hey, Michael. How you doing there?
Pretty good. I see that it's the same story. I mean, I recall almost 20-some years ago, 30 years ago, that they were losing 60%. And you're right. They did all this high-tech technology. We paid lots of higher rates to buy better stuff that would capture all the water. Maybe there's something we're missing, such as how did we solve our GTA problem? Remember, GTA used to be just as bad as GWA and GPA with rising rates and poor service.
Yeah.
We privatized. Well, where's that discussion now?
Oh, they haven't had that conversation since the beginning of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, and that went before the legislature, and I recalled that was summarily shot down, the concept of taking GWA and offering it up for privatization. But that was a bunch of years ago. Maybe it is ripe for the conversation. Maybe there's a private solution. I don't disagree with you.
Well, I mean, what operation has the government actually done a good job at? You know, we have the airport was one of the highest fees in the region. We've got a port authority that loses money by making bad contracts. How many times do we have to learn a lesson before we finally maybe admit that maybe government is not really a good way to run operations?
But FESPAC was fun, wasn't it?
Unfeathered sale. We're talking about, you know, it's very common to have a private company run a thing, and then they set the rates according to efficiencies. I mean, the CCU should say something to the effect, well, if you made 80%, if you sold 80% of your water, you should be able to make a slight profit. The fact you're selling only 60%, well, that's on you.
Right. No, I don't disagree. I'm running out of time this hour. My godbrother Mike Israel. Appreciate the time. We need to have a little bit more of a formal conversation about this, and if you like, I can call you back in about, I don't know, half hour, 35 minutes, and we can continue, because I think you're making some good points.
No problem.
All right, we'll talk in the next hour. Mike Israel and I here on The Point. We are KUSG Hagutnia headquarters for Fox News Live.
Live from New York, The Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. And this is a Fox News alert. He was America's dad. Now Bill Cosby is a convicted felon in Pennsylvania, found guilty on all 3 counts at a sexual assault retrial. Fox's Gernal Scott live at the courthouse in Norristown.
Lisa, it could be up to 3 months before Cosby is sentenced on the aggravated indecent assault charges stemming from an incident with Andrea Constand more than a decade ago. In the meantime, he does remain free. Montgomery County DA Kevin Steele says he knows there are others out there that have been victims of sex assaults where drugs and intoxicants were used.
We hope that this case sends a strong message that the victims of these types of crimes can come forward and be heard on what happened to them.
Cosby left the courthouse to a mixed reaction, but still some support. His attorney Tom Mesereau plans an appeal, Lisa.
Colonel Lily Bernard's one of Cosby's dozens of other accusers.
It is a victory for all sexual assault survivors.
5 were allowed to testify at the second trial over Andrea Constand's charges. The first jury deadlocked last year. A federal judge in New York appoints a special master to review what was seized by the FBI from the office of President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. Meantime, the president takes aim again at former FBI chief James Comey.
Comey is a leaker. And he's a liar.
Also calling the Russia probe a witch hunt on Fox and Friends. Comey will be live on the Fox News Channel with Bret Baier on Special Report an hour from now. Wall Street rallies. The Dow up 238 to 24,322. The S&P and the NASDAQ both up more than 1%. And that was before the latest earnings reports after hours, including Amazon, with sales up 43% in the first quarter. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Why pay for paper? Go paperless for $3 less. Move into e-billing and reduce your carbon footprint while enjoying an easier, faster, and more secure way to receive and view your bills. No more paper clutter or waiting for the mail. Go green and sign up today by checking out DocomoPacific.com or calling 688-CARE. Why pay for paper? Go paperless for $3 less. Docomo Pacific, better together.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue. Fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
And the Ad Council.
A bill aimed at protecting the special counsel in the Russia probe is passed by a Senate committee. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on the Hill.
Legislation giving a special counsel the right to appeal a firing to a 3-judge panel won bipartisan approval, and the Senate's Judiciary Committee. South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham is one of the sponsors.
It's not about Mr. Mueller. It's not about Trump.
It's about the rule of law.
Most committee Republicans, like Utah's Mike Lee, did vote no because of constitutional concerns.
By infringing on the quintessentially executive power to conduct criminal investigations.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has already said he does not plan to put the bill up for a full Senate vote. Lisa.
Jared, former CIA Chief Mike Pompeo is now Secretary of State, heading to Brussels for a NATO meeting just after winning Senate confirmation today. Tough day on the Hill for EPA Chief Scott Pruitt, Democrats and some Republicans grilling him on ethics and spending questions.
I'm not afraid to admit that there's been a learning process, and when Congress or independent bodies of oversight find fault in our decision-making, I want to correct that and ensure that it does not happen again.
But Pruitt denies any intentional wrongdoing, and he rejects calls to resign. An explosion at an oil refinery in Superior, Wisconsin, injuring 11 people and prompting evacuations for miles around homes, schools, and a hospital, clearing out as a precaution. It's a big night for football fans.
There continues to be plenty of drama surrounding the first round of the NFL draft tonight in Arlington. The Cleveland Browns have the first and fourth picks in the first round, and there is a report indicating a growing feeling around the league that they will select Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield with the first overall pick. The New York Giants have the second overall selection, and there have been indications they could be leaning towards Penn State running back Saquon Barkley.
Fox's Peter Schwartz. The Jets, Browns, and Broncos round out the top five. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy to spot better for you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The controversy deepening over how quickly an area in Barrigada Heights was cleared for road access, even without the proper permits for land clearing. The road clearing provides access to parcels of formerly inaccessible land under the Chamorro Land Trust inventory, lots available for as low as $1 a year for up to 99 years. Acting DPW Director Andy Leon Guerrero confirming that Land Management, which runs the CLTC program, asked DPW to clear a 40-foot wide access road into the area. DPW dispatched heavy equipment to do that. Clearing began, but Leon Guerrero says that the work was stopped after Guam EPA advised that Neither the Department of Agriculture or Guam EPA itself had signed off on the required permits. There are about 8,000 applicants for Chamorro-only land lease properties, and many of them have waited more than 20 years to reach the top of the list. About 28 people received CLTC lots in Barrigada Heights, among them DYA Director Peter Alexis Atta, Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, Barrigada Mayor June Blas, and Vice Barrigada Mayor Jesse Perez Bautista. Senator Lee says the lot that she received was gifted to her by her mother, and she's calling for an investigation to learn why the roadway was cleared without the proper permits. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. also calling on land management for an explanation. We'll have more news after this.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualified today.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The attorney for the Guam Contractors Association and 11 other Guam businesses is asking the district court to hold the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service in contempt and impose sanctions against the federal agency for continuing to deny H-2B petitions from Guam employers seeking skilled foreign labor for non-military construction projects. Attorney Jeff Joseph filing a motion in District Court of Guam this week charging the Immigration Service with continuing to deny H-2B petitions despite a preliminary injunction issued in January requiring them to reverse their previous denials and stop the blanket denials of future petitions, and despite the court's decision on March 31st to grant class action status to the lawsuit. During the past month, the attorney said that Guam Advance Enterprises, a potential class member, received notice that its petition for at least 3 H-2B visas were denied by the Immigration Service. Joseph says USCIS told him that they think the class certification applies only to the ultimate final judgment in the case and not to the previously issued injunction. Joseph, however, counters that the court's order is clear on its face and he wants the federal agency held in contempt. A student-hosted gubernatorial forum was held at Teason High School yesterday. Among the candidates, Democrat Lou Leon Guerrero, who said she would support decriminalizing marijuana and treating it like any other regulated substance, such as alcohol. Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr., also seeking the Democratic nomination, said he does not support recreational use of marijuana, but he wants to ensure that the medicinal marijuana program that he does support is finally implemented. Republican Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio said recreational marijuana use requires more discussion, adding that federal legislation may soon change the way the substance is treated nationwide. Other topics discussed at the gubernatorial forum included health care and education. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and former Governor Carl Gutierrez were unable to attend. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Partly sunny today with scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms this morning, then isolated showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Daytime highs should be around 88 degrees. There is going to be today maximum afternoon heat index of around 100 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight and tomorrow, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. But we ought to see improving weather conditions on Sunday with a little less by way of the thunderstorms and scattered showers and more of the sun shining. Lows around 77. Daytime highs around 88 degrees. Sunset tonight at 6:35. Sun will be up tomorrow morning at right about 6 o'clock. 7:13 is studio time on The Point.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at King's Restaurant, for decades, serving your favorite meals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Always open, always local. That's King's.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth, from vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams. We're all concerned with protecting our world's water, but none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com. And this little sliver of the program also brought to you by our friends over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Summer's right around the corner, but first shift into spring with Triple J. With 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in, now is the time to buy. Get into our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $217 per paycheck. Car and drivers, 10 best. Mazda CX-9 at $242 per paycheck. The Mazda 3 sedan at only $137 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord at only $216 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Yeah, buddy. Let me see. Rebecca Salazar's online. So is Eunice Mendiola. Great to have you there. Marvin Ike Iseki comes along for another ride, and Greg Massey online with us this morning. Jim Tillman agreeing, nodding up and down as much as he can online with some of the points that Godbrother Mike Israel was making in the last couple of minutes of the program, talking about some of the loss encountered over at GWA and pointing going back in time to a time, and I brought this up before, where the Guam Telephone Authority, GTA, existed as a government entity. And, boy, there were times you pick up the phone. This is a long, long time ago. You pick up the phone, and there wouldn't be a dial tone for a little bit. It just kind of, you remember that?
I remember.
And then eventually we'd get this little clicky thing, and okay, we've got it now. And in the first days of cellular technology on Guam, back in those days, if you were able to make a connection on the cell phones, you made the connection on the cell phone, you held on to that connection as long as you could, because it got to be drive time in the morning, drive time in the afternoon, and all of the circuits would be busy. Virtually unheard of now. You know why? Competition. And if GTA were left to their own devices as a government agency, I guarantee they would still be exactly where they are today. But private equity came in, and the invisible hand all of a sudden hit the telecom business here on Guam. How many carriers do we have? How many phones do we have? How much money is the government making in E911 fees and all of these other things? So at the end of the day, it's it might be a good thing to ponder again the concept of privatization. At least my two James online feel that way today.
Generally speaking, that's not the practice over in the States, and there's actually some examples, Atlanta, Detroit being examples of cities that had privatized their water, but it went real bad.
Okay,
real bad.
So we wouldn't do it like those guys then.
Yeah,
we'd find out what they did wrong and then just not do that. There's riparian rights and all of these other things that go in. And I remember there were some places that had privatized. There was one outfit I want to say about 10 years ago was interested in doing something along those lines here. Right. And astute journalist did some research on this company. and as it turned out, they had some strikes against them, at least PR-wise.
Well, and that's what I'm reading here. I'm looking at Wikipedia now, and it looks like the failure of these agreements was on the part of the water companies, and not the cities themselves. So it may not necessarily be the best.
Right. But you just got to figure out what those problems were, what those missteps were.
Right,
so as I say, on a public relations side, one of the things that they wanted to do, as an example, and I always joke about this, one of the things that I would like to do is not have to be beholden to anybody. Not necessarily off grid, but if I can get water. If I can get water from the sky and find a way to make sure that at my house it's always potable, that I can drink it, that I can shower with it, and do all of those things, then you know what? I'd like to use that because it's not metered. And in some places, if you got a stream by your house or if you're catching rainwater, that still belongs to the water company.
If I were running things, I would almost insist that all new home building require catchment.
If for no other reason, just flush the toilet with it, right?
Something like that. Wash your hands.
Yeah, and but it ain't good. That's never going to happen. But Google, I'm trying to remember the name of the company. Was it Veolia? Do you remember? They came in for a little bit when they were redoing the Ganya treatment plant. They came in and went very specific contract, specific amount of time. But when they first came in, there were some people that were doing some active investigations into arrangements that they had made in other places, business that they had done in other places. And as I said, some of it did not pass the PR smell test. So much so that I think it was Simon Sanchez that gave them the nickname Darth Veolia. At least that's the recollection. Google, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a big fan of Wikipedia either because anybody can go in there and put the graffiti on the wall. But before you apply for a job, actually, I'll pass this along to Jerry Roberts. Google yourself. Be sure to check your social media posts for not-so-pleasant stuff. More than 1 in 3 employers say they will automatically disqualify a candidate based on something that they found online. And so I've checked today, and so far in the first 2 pages of Ray Gibson Guam on the Google, there is nothing incriminating. Of course, I'm scared to go to the 3rd page.
Right.
Who knows what the hell is in there?
I'll check that one out.
No, that's okay. No need.
I Google my legal name, and I'm given more than 5 million hits.
Really?
Not going to bother with it.
Okay, yeah. And I got to get somebody online. Richard Hughes says, yeah, it was Veolia that they were talking about back in those days. Hey, we got to do the market report, see where everything left off. Markets are finally back in the green. S&P 500 up by almost 27.5 points, 26.66. NASDAQ at 71.18. They're up by 114 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average found its footing today, 24,322. They're up by 238 points. FTSE is green. Nikkei closed green yesterday. Hang Seng, Shanghai, and the VIX are all down, but everything else looks like it might be moving in the right direction. I forget why. I think maybe just a little bit of wobble in the system. What are the big stories? Amazon jumps after smashing earnings. Microsoft shares drop despite earnings. Anything else here? No, say it isn't so. What is this? Subway to close 500 restaurants across the United States? Please, God, don't let that affect us here.
Yeah, they're having major problems, and it really all started with their spokesman who got arrested and imprisoned for child porn charges.
That guy,
and it's been
that was years ago.
It's just been a lingering thing.
Wow,
and they just haven't quite recovered from that as a company.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
I got you. All right, so there's that, and we'll take a real quick look at where we are with the commodities. I'm not going to bother looking at West Texas crude right now. I've got good news for you, and the Tapis is down to $75.04. Yesterday it was trading at $75, and 86 cents for a barrel. So that's a pretty big bite out of the price of the Tapis crude. Don't know what it is that how that's going to affect what we're doing with gasoline prices on Guam. But like I said, it's still over $75, and in my mind, that is a good excuse for the gas guys to be able to say, look, that's what we're buying it for, so we've got to sell it at higher rates when it comes out to Guam. Now, people ask me, they say, Ray, you know the guys in the gas companies. Why don't you talk to them and ask them about it? And you know what? The other night, I had the opportunity to spend some great quality time with one of my buddies in the gas business, and completely forgot to actually talk about gas. You know what we talked about? Talked about food in the convenience stores.
I'm sure bacon entered that conversation.
There was a conversation. No, you know what it was? Hot dogs.
Well, That's like bacon, but different.
It was hot dogs because I like hot dogs. I like hot dogs and chili.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So at my house, I have cans of Hormel chili, no beans.
Yeah. I like the ones with beans.
But I didn't buy hot dogs.
Yeah.
So I said to the guy, I said, listen, when I go to your place, can I buy just the hot dog? I don't need the bun. I don't need the condiment. I just want a couple of dogs. I'll go home, stick that in a bowl, put the chili on top of it, and be the happiest guy there ever was. And the answer is yes. You can buy the hot dog without the bun. So I'm going to try that the next time I'm in his place. And maybe the next time I see him, I might ask him a question or two about gas. Hey, we got to do the extra point right now. One of your favorite portions of this time in the program. Jerry Roberts from GuamTraining.com.
Do you have plans for your future? Do you know what you want for yourself in a year, 3 years, 5 years from now? I'm Jerry Roberts, and today we talk about why so many people never achieve those future plans. That's right now on the Extra Point. When we talk about plans for the future, we have to start putting people into categories. Some don't have any plans, and at this point don't want to deal with it. They're the cruisers. We'll leave them alone today. Folks in the next group aren't really sure what they want. They want to do something, to be something, but they haven't yet figured out what that is. People of every age are in here, not just the young. They're the undecided. Then you have people who have decided, but haven't got any traction. They're still standing in square one. We call them the frozen. Finally, the group that has decided and is on track to achieve their goals, they have clarity, they have purpose, and they're going for it. They're the focused and don't need our help right now. Eventually, we'll deal with all four groups, but today's mission is to unfreeze the frozen. Let me start with a reality you'd have to just accept. Our everyday habits form our future selves. What you do today determines who you will be tomorrow. This is the action step. If you've done the plan right, just start. Stop playing with the roadmap and get on the road. If you've broken down your path into bite-sized pieces to make them more manageable, then dive into step 1, get it done, and move on to step 2. Set an appointment with yourself to revisit the goal and make the next step a daily priority. If you do, you'll wake up one of these days and see that you've made real progress. Make progress a habit and feed it daily. Now here's the goal piece for advanced users, and if you can get your head around it, you'll accelerate the process. Start being the person you want to become right now. If that person would have a mentor, get a mentor. If that person would be on top of all new developments in your field, then be on top of those developments. If that person would read about or practice new skills for 2 hours a day, then you do that too. I said you need to get your head around this because that's the only thing in your way. To meet the person you will have the hardest time convincing, the person who will roadblock your progress and knock your dreams off the tracks, step in front of a mirror. Don't wait to be the person you want to be until you have a degree or certification or somebody tells you that you've arrived. Be that person today and pay the price he or she pays to own that. Do what they do. Learn what they learn. Occupy that mindset right now. Just do it. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Oh, I can hardly wait to hear how he undoes the cruisers and the undecideds and praises the focused and gets to a point where we can make more of those kinds of people. I would suggest that for any of these 4 different categories, the cruisers, the undecideds, the frozens, and the focused, one of the things that you might want to avoid is a life of crime and drugs. Those guys don't seem to be going anywhere, unfortunately, making up a big chunk of the headlines. We'll have some of those headlines with the amazing Kevin Kerrigan in just a little bit. 7:25, be right back.
Looking for a reliable power system when the power goes out? Kohler Power Systems are quiet, reliable, and dependable. And they stay that way with regular service and support from the team at Morico Equipment because they also offer qualified after-sales service and support for Kohler Power Systems. Kohler generator systems are sold and serviced on Guam by Morico Equipment. You should call them now at 649-1946 or click moricoequipment.com.
Man, I just looked at my phone and I realized I'm still at Bixby Level 1. I must be one of the cruisers on Jerry's list here. 727. They do this thing. It's the new kind of Samsung, the guy you talk to on the phone, and he manages your calendar and
I'm an
tells you
Apple
what
guy,
the
sorry.
Yeah, so you got the girl, right? You ever use that? No. Neither do I. I have no idea what it's for, really. All right, so let's take a look at what's happening in the traffic. I got traffic building in all of the usual suspect locations at 726. Don't see a whole lot of heavy traffic, except up around the very top of Dededo. You're making your way up through Route 3 just before you start to make the way towards that cross piece that'll take you to the front gate of Anderson Air Force Base on Route 9. Maybe that has to do with some of the construction that DPW might be doing in the area. We're also going to see a little bit of traffic that looks like it's beginning to form around the intersection that takes you into the University of Guam, George Washington, GCC. It looks like things are backing up at that intersection between 10 and 32, but nothing else in the area that you need to know about. Coming into Agana, cruising to the top of Sinahanya and then down the hill towards Agana, we're seeing traffic begin to slow down in that location as well. It's 728. That's what's happening in the traffic on The Point.
Hafa, my name is James Moylan, and I'm running for a seat as your senator. The people of Guam expect more from their leaders, and I intend on delivering. If given the opportunity, I will bring my experiences in the military, public, and private sectors. I understand that during challenging times, tough decisions and an open mind are needed. Your tax dollars also need to be spent wisely. If you expect more from your elected officials and expect them to think outside of the box, then I humbly ask for your support this November. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect James Camacho Moylan for Senator, Carlos Camacho, Treasurer.
I don't know, that build, I can't necessarily see it. I can see the traffic beginning to build there, and I can see it slowing down in Mangilao in kind of both directions as you make your way towards GW and the schools and stuff. If there was something that the motorists need to know about, stalled vehicle or accident or something like that, let me know about it. 888-8255, and that will make me very, very happy. So I'll be able to present complete information to all of the listeners. That's a plan. That's the goal of the morning show here at the radio station. A bunch of other stuff that we need to get to, and I'm going to jump in a little bit earlier to find out what's happening with headlines. The Guam Daily Post. Here is Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7:30 on the nose. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, drugs, cash, and guns recovered during a raid Wednesday on a unit at the Casa de Flores apartments in Agana Heights. The Mondaña Drug Task Force and SWAT officers executing a search warrant there after receiving information about drug activity at the apartment. They arrested 42-year-old Enrique Harris Guerrero on allegations of drug possession and distribution. Inside the apartment, police seized about 20 grams of marijuana, 1.5 pounds of meth, some ecstasy, and 5 doses of LSD, along with $3,300 in cash. They also seized a bolt-action rifle, 2 handguns, and ammunition. Joshua John Untalan Mesa named in a federal complaint filed in district court after he received a package in the mail that contained 56 grams of crystal methamphetamine. Authorities discovering the package and did a controlled delivery where Mesa was seen picking up the package and opening it. When an alert came from the beeper transmitter inside the package, law enforcement approached the Chalanpago residence, and Mesa fled the scene with the package in his hands. He was later found hiding in the jungle with the contents of the package. Mesa currently has a pending criminal case and a civil lawsuit for a 2016 arrest after he was shot in the buttocks by an airport police officer when he refused to pull over when ordered to do so by police. Another $13 million in tax return refunds will be going out on Monday. The governor's office announcing yesterday that about 2,700 tax refund checks will be going out, covering returns filed up through February 4th of this year. This will be only the third release of 2017 refunds this year, all of which have occurred this month. 10 million in returns have gone out in each of the past 2 weeks. With Monday's release of 13 million more, that'll raise the total to 33 million in refunds sent out in April, exceeding the commitment made by acting DOA Director Edward Byrne at his confirmation hearing, who said he had hoped to authorize the release of at least 25 million this month. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
iConnect time in the studio is 7:32. iConnect wants you to connect longer for less with their push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Luis Muñoz on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
The word that we're looking for here is tantalizing. Wendy's cod filet sandwich. Wendy's uses wild-caught North Pacific cod breaded with panko crumbs to a light crisp. Then they drizzle it with a creamy dill tartar sauce. You want more flavor? How about this? The splash of the vinegar and the pickle juice when you bite into the pickle, Rick. Wendy's cod filet. Now that's better.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
I'm a pickle, Morty. I'm a pickle. I'm Pickle Rick. I'm sorry. It's a reference to one of my favorite television shows and a particular episode of this Wubba-Lubba-Dub-Dub. That's all I got to say. It's 7:34 right now, and we'll reconnect with Godbrother Mike in just a little bit. But a bunch of people calling in on a bunch of stuff, so let me clear these lines up and get those topics on the air. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Hey, Mark. Okay, moving on to Andre. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning, Ray. How are you, man?
I'm Wubba-Lubba-Dub-Dub. I'm doing all right.
All right. Hey, you owe me an apology, Ray. This morning I had my coffee out. It was hot, and I was just sitting down on my kitchen table there, and I turned on the Facebook, the internet, and then there's Ray. Hey, there's Andre Tatum. Give me a call. I spilled my coffee.
You spilled your coffee? What? Wait, see if we can turn him up a little bit. You spilled your coffee?
Yeah. My wife comes out and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Blame Ray Gibson for shouting on the Facebook at me."
Well, I'm sorry I called you out, but it looks like they've gotten to at least the end of the discussion over at the legislature on your school, and I'm glad that John Fernandez had been around there. Great relationship with Mark Mendiola, and between those two, if they can't fix Sanchez, then it can't be fixed. I don't think. The concerns about whether or not we're trading, potential procurement flaws from DPW with potential procurement flaws with GDOE.
Ray, the procurement excuse, has been going on for, 4 times. And, the first time they used it, we were like, okay, this is a difficult thing. And then the second time, DPW said, well, it's a procurement issue. And then the third time, they said, well, it's a procurement issue. And then Tom Atta came up with a bill to try and fix that issue. And then that went into protest again. And then we had Senator Frank Uggan come up, and he came to our school and he proposed this idea to us. And we figured, you know what, man, if DPW can do it after 4 attempts and 4 tries, I really don't think it's a procurement issue. I think there's something else going on. This is a $100 million contract, and something else is afoot here, because in that time, in that span of 7 years, we've had bridges built and roads paved and so many different things going on. But for some reason, Sanchez just can't get built. So I think, it's not the procurement, as Tom Atta said on the floor this week. I think there's something else. And they asked the current DPW director, what he thinks the issue is, and he said he doesn't know either. It could be greed, it could be this, it could be the procurement, it could be that he doesn't know. So we have to continue, over at Simon Sanchez to look for whatever alternative is out there and is proposed to us to finally get our school built, because year after year our school continues to deteriorate. The air cons are down in the classroom, in my classroom in particular, and we don't see any relief in the horizon. So what we have in this bill is we have the actual entity that is in charge of educating our students, who is not politically connected but voted on by the board, and the board agreed to tackle this issue, and we appreciate that they're going to be the ones that are going to be responsible for building this school, and he's willing to do it, and they're willing to take on this task, and we just got to continue to try for the sake of all the stakeholders over at Simon Sanchez. And this is not just for Sanchez, but this is for even other schools as well, and how we proceed in building and renovating and fixing other schools on Guam. So we hope that the senators, vote yes. Senator Simikas has been up to our school, and he said he supported. I don't understand Selena Nelson. It didn't seem like she was going to, with some of the line of her questioning. It didn't seem like she was going to support it, but we, she was a teacher. She understands the conditions of our schools. I really hope that she lends her support to this bill, and other senators that are out there. We need this relief. The bathrooms continue to clog up. The roof continues to leak, and it's just an awful situation.
The more I think about it, and years and years and years of deferred maintenance, and all of the problems. Of course, we got vandalization. We got the idiot students that go in there and intentionally try to break things because they, it's got this. They feel like everything is hopeless for whatever reason. So I understand, and I have been on the campus as well. So I wish you guys very, very good luck on this. We'll see what happens. They're going to try to get the vote out on Friday, and I've got the sense, at least, that things are going to be going in your direction. And as I said, if between the GDOE chair with Mark Mandiola and John Fernandez, if they give them the authority and they still can't get it done, then bulldoze it. Just because it can't, because then it can't get done.
Right. I mean, like I said, it's been 7 years. There was 4 attempts, and each attempt has failed. So maybe it's time to try something totally different. And like I said, Senator Uggan came to our school. He didn't just introduce this. He came to our school, proposed the idea, worked with the superintendent, worked with the stakeholders at Sanchez. The speaker, DJ Cruz, was so, he accommodated us, or the stakeholders at Sanchez, by holding a public hearing up there.
Yep.
And so it's not like we're just jumping onto anything. We really dove into it. The teachers are on board. The mayor of Chigo was there saying he supports it. So we need some relief, and we're having a press conference today. The students are going to come out and hopefully try and convince again our legislators and our governor to really come to the rescue of the students up at Simon Sanchez. That's all.
Well, yeah, do me a favor. Go ahead and have the press conference, but keep an eye on things. See if you got a couple of inside guys over at the legislature that can let you know when they're actually going to vote on it. And what you might want to consider is, I don't know, having the kids go down there, put it on the WhatsApp, so when it comes time to vote, they're actually looking at the student body of Simon Sanchez as they're making this decision.
Yeah, we'll try and figure something out, Ray. But I really appreciate you giving me the time this morning to give,
Well, I got to make it up because I made you spill your coffee, apparently.
No, Ray, I don't know if you remember. You got a few years on me. I'm about 45, 46. I'm 46 years old, and I don't know if you remember the 1970s show Romper Room. Where the lady at the end of the show would look into a magic mirror and say, "Hey, there's Andre Bainum, and there's Mikey, and there's Ricky." So when you do this on the Facebook thing, it just reminds me of that. And, so that, unfortunately, when I was a kid and I would listen to Romper Room, they'd never call Andre or Tyrone or Miguel. It was always Kevin or Ray or John or some.
So the Anglo names. We never called the Hispanics. We never called the African American names, right? So
you know what? And I always hope to get my name heard, and you fulfilled a childhood dream of mine. So
well, there we go. Well, let's take care of the dreams of the kids. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Andre. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Ray.
Looking forward to hearing from you. Andre Bainham with me on the program. This is Ray Gibson Show on the Point. 888-8255. That's 888-8255. Hoffa Clay.
Buenas and Hoffa Day, Ray.
Amigo, it's always nice to hear from you. What you thinking about on a Friday morning?
Well, you mentioned Subway and how all these Subway is closing like 500 stores.
Yeah.
Actually, this is an old news story about a year ago, and I talked to somebody here that's in the know, the local Subway. All Subways are independent, so they're franchisees.
Mm-hmm.
And they are dictated to by the franchisor who does marketing and gives away footlongs for $5.99 or buy one, get one free. And the franchisees have to do that. They have no choice if you want to hold your franchise. The franchisees are saying, wait a minute, after rent, utilities, employee benefits, salaries, and everything else, we're not making the money. We're losing money. We're bailing out. So these 500 stores that are closing, it's the franchisees that said enough is enough. I'm not, the only people who, the franchisor, Subway, they make their fees based upon volume of sales,
licensing, et cetera.
They
Yeah.
don't make any money, and so the CEO, I forget her name, but she's just tough as nails, and she was criticized quite a bit in the press about their dictatorial standards and how they're just driving these franchisees nuts. And
yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously a lingering story, but the headline that I was reading was from CNBC, and it was datelined, published 8 hours ago. So if there must be more of this that is happening now, as Subway, they say Subway is closing 500 restaurants, but what you're saying is 500 franchisees are bailing.
Yeah, because Subway does not own a restaurant.
Right. Okay.
They own the franchise. I mean, the franchisees, they have the franchise, the franchisor. So if it's not making any money, they're closing. So,
yeah. Well, but the other piece of the headline, Clay, is it says it will meanwhile open about 1,000 locations worldwide.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's other places in other countries where labor is cheaper and so on and so forth. It's a workable business, but depends on where you're at. I mean, Guam's more expensive than it is to operate in someplace in Iowa, I'm sure. So the other story I want to tell you, and this is an interesting story about cocaine that was related to me by the late Tony DeBroom from the Marshalls.
I remember him.
Yep, and nice guy. So he was out here doing the sale of Continental Air Mike to Continental. That's how long ago it was. And we were talking up in his hotel room at the Hilton about, various and sundry things. And he related this story about how one day, just out of the blue, all these black packages started floating ashore in the Marshalls full of cocaine. 200 pounds of cocaine.
Wow.
And he was the minister of finance, I think, at the time. And I said, so what the hell happened? He goes, it fell off the ship somewhere, or got thrown overboard, which is typical. It's cost of doing business for these, drug smugglers. And they are in the current path from South America. And this stuff washed ashore. So I said, well, what did they do with it? And he said, the police chief, took possession of it and put it in some government building. And I said, well, then what happened? He goes, well, that's the mystery.
What do you think? What do you think happened to it?
And we left it at that, So all of this stuff, all the cocaine that's coming to Guam, somebody didn't smuggle it in. It floated in, and after the story broke, Hawaiian Rock, I bet you there's a lot of fishermen out there, and maybe drug dealers going, hey, maybe there's more.
Well, didn't Brent
there was.
Didn't Brent Tibbett say that we've got them in Yahak Run on that side of the island? Didn't we say that the other day? Is that what? Maybe that's what's going. But because I asked the question, we got the second package, and I thought, as a delivery method for drug dealers, this doesn't seem to be very efficient. You and I could manage, I think, a better process if we needed one.
It probably got thrown overboard off the coast of California or someplace. It just drifted out. I mean, they package this stuff to be watertight, when they're taking it in submarines, and stuff like that. It floated up, and, and somebody got lucky. And, I hate seeing all these stories every day, multiple stories about, the drugs and all the crap. But you know what I find encouraging about that is the Mandela Task Force is kicking ass and doing a good job.
Aren't they? I gotta agree with you. I mean, every day we're getting another story of these guys that are following up on leads, and in some cases, it's basic police work that we're seeing on the streets. I mean, regular patrol officers saying that guy's got a busted taillight in a car that looks like a moving violation. So they're pulling these guys over, and they're getting probable cause, and they are effecting arrests.
And the neighbors are vigilant, and they're saying, hey, this guy's got, 40 people coming over at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Drug dealing, I mean, that happened at a Lupane Cove, It's like some guy moved in, and then all of a sudden, I had more traffic at 2 o'clock in the morning at a Lupane Cove, than McDonald's does at noon on a Friday.
Yep.
I'm going, okay, so, we got
something's going
involved, and bingo bango.
I got to tell you, though, one of the things that raised my eyebrows here of the one that Kevin was reporting in the last headlines cast, we'll probably do another one in another 10 minutes after the Fox News, is LSD was part of the bust package. So when they made the raid, I mean, it's like they got everything. We got dope, we got ice, we've got the ecstasy, and then they found some tubs of LSD. Right? When was the last time you heard about an LSD bus on Guam?
God, I can't remember. Last time I heard about LSD period was 1967.
Right, exactly. And then the conversation about cocaine being a little bit more prevalent that the J.I. Cruz had over at the police department. And I wonder if there might be this thing where you got people that go, I got access to dope, I'm okay with the dope. I know I don't want to have anything to do with ice, but maybe there are some other, as Huey Lewis in the news says, and want a new drug. There are no new drugs, so you go back to some of the old stuff, the old standbys, cocaine and LSD. But my God, I can't remember the last time I had a conversation with anybody about LSD, lysergic, lysergic diethylide.
There was a movie, I think Bird on a Wire, something like that, with Mel Gibson and this Spanish actor, and they were involved in smuggling tons of cocaine. And one of the last lines when, they kind of shot each other was that, the Mexican guy says, this crap ain't good for nobody.
Amen to that. Hey, I got to run, Clay. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Take care.
You have an outstanding morning, outstanding weekend. There's a ton of stuff going on, and there's a lot floating around in people's minds, as you can see. As you can see, everybody got an opinion on some kind of topic today. I probably don't have it right up on the phone where I wanted to, but there's a big car wash that's going to be taking place for some folks. I want to make sure I get some time with that. But he's back on the line. My godbrother, Mike Israel, and Mike had called in the last hour, and unfortunately we had to break away from the conversation. I got plenty of time for you now, Mike, between here and 8 o'clock to talk about the upside of privatizing some of the government of Guam agencies out there, and the idea that, sometimes the government is not the answer to your problems. The government is the problem.
Yeah. I mean, basically the problem with government is running something. I mean, we do need government. They provide law and order and a host of other services like parks and pools and swimming pools and stuff. That's all good. But when it comes to a business where you need to be charging for a service and you need to provide a service, especially a complicated service, maybe government isn't the best model. In fact, almost always it's not the best model. It's the model of last resort. And back in the 50s and 60s, when Guam wasn't as big as it is today, it made sense to have the government run these essential services. But now that Guam has gotten bigger and more complicated, and a perfect example is GTA. GTA is a huge success story. I remember the day when you used to hang on to that telephone number because you'd never get another one, no matter what you were doing. You remember that? And do you remember that GTA for the longest time tried to suppress any innovation on the island because they realized that the cell phone industry was the future, and they didn't want any new companies on island because they were going to milk the cell phones in order to pay for the poor service on the landline.
On the regular lines, yeah. Well, that was, I guess, the theory that was rolling around that I don't remember any direct evidence of them putting the kibosh. I know that it was difficult for a lot of telecoms that wanted to bloom around that same time because they were in competition essentially with the government.
Mm-hmm. And then they would not give the permits. And they just outright banned it sometimes. And it was just very, very tough. But now we sold it. GovGuam made a nice fat profit, a couple $100 million. They then had an agency now that's very, very competitive. And when I want a telephone line, I have I have 3-4 choices, and including cell phones and other options. And when I say choices, remember there used to be a guy named Lee Holmes. He used to have the cable company.
I do.
Which became Docomo.
Yep.
Well, you can get telephone service. You can get landline telephone service through your cable company. So there are lots of innovations, but when the government has it one way, innovation is stifled. With GWA, I know we've had this conversation. We, the island, have had this conversation many times.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is there's this idea that we're selling the water of Guam. We're not selling water. Water comes from the air. It comes from God. It comes from nature. We are selling the service of delivering it from a couple 100 feet under the ground to your home, which goes through pipes. It goes through pumps. It goes through cleaning mechanisms. And all of that, we're relying on people to do it. And in other places, it's usually done by private companies. Now, we're not going to sell outright and then they can charge any price you want. It would be more of a franchise arrangement, and it would also be subject to CCU like we have today.
Oh, absolutely. So you'd have the CCU and the Public Utilities Commission in front of it, so that it's not like the rates are going to go through the roof. Let me throw another ponderable at you, because it seems to me that there are some people that think that the GWA or GPA might be too big, too important to the people of Guam to sell off to somebody. But you'll recall a few years ago, and it took me a while to dig out some stories on this, but I remember when there was an outfit that came here and had access to cheap coal, and thought what they'd like to do is, instead of selling coal to the Guam Power Authority and have the GPA burn the coal and make electricity out of it, they would import the coal. They would set up their own coal fire and set up their own power plant and sell to GPA. Now, my recollection is GPA didn't want to have anything to do with that, and they thought, well, why don't we become power producers and find a way using wheeling rates to be able to use the transmission and distribution system of the Power Authority and sell directly to you and I as customers.
Yeah, I don't remember coal, but I do know that we were going through a period back in the 1990s with Governor Gutierrez during the it wasn't Governor Gutierrez's fault, but he walked into this problem where we had massive power outages. Remember, we used to have permanent rolling power outages?
Sure. Yeah, well, I recall that during Joanna's time, and I'm trying to remember when they resolved that problem with the fast track generators that burned basically gold.
Well, the fast tracks were a disaster. I mean, what they did was they allowed private companies to come in, and they would set up their own plant, they would run it, and then they would sell power to the grid, and the grid would distribute it.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that, the government would be as creative in squashing private enterprises as they are in producing services. So what they did was they transferred the high cost of power into R&D. I think it's called distribution and DNT. Distribution and transmission. So we had these very efficient, very good running power companies, but electrical companies. But then the transmission was being controlled by the government of Guam, and what they did was they shifted the pricing into the T&D, so the consumer never got the benefit of the lower pricing, but the power companies were barely making any profit. Because when people hear that we pay 22, 24 cents a kilowatt, they think, wow, we can go to Guam and make a lot of money. And then they come here and they realize, oh, they're being paying a few cents for the power. The rest of it's being swallowed by T&D,
right.
R&D. No, T&D. So it's got to be a little more comprehensive than that. And then what happened was later on, the government went back and bought up all the power companies, and the private companies were more than happy to sell and make a little profit. And then they turned around, and now we got the government going back in the power business, and we had an explosion down at Cabras the other day. You know, I mean, and whenever something happens, when the government owns something and it happens, the bill gets passed back to us. When private person owns it and something happens, oh, that's your problem. That wasn't my fault.
We'll figure out. Call the insurance company.
Well, insurance company or whatever. I mean, it's on you. It's on your shareholders, not the people, not the ratepayers of Guam. Right now, everything, all the risk of Gov Guam operations are on the ratepayers. And when you know that you have an infinite ability to pass on those risks without ever going out of business. In fact, in government, it's kind of perverse. The worse job you do, the more money you get. God forbid you have an agency that actually feels a profit and didn't spend all that money. What's the first thing the legislature does? Takes it away from them.
That's right.
On the other hand, if you've got an agency that's chronic, like whatever an agency, we saw it the other day with Parks and Rec, they wanted more money or something, first thing they did, just shut the swimming pool down. You know, first thing they did, they shut the lights off on the road, even though it's a private.
Which made no sense to me because they actually made money. If you shut down the swimming pool, you prevent people from coming in and giving you $2 a day in order to use the thing. It just it boggled my mind. And
really crazy.
And the way that they dole out these tickets, where you got to go up to Sinania, up to Ganya Heights, and buy your passes instead of doing it down there because they don't trust people at the swimming pool because of sticky fingers or whatever. I just think, why do we make it so hard to take in money in the government of Guam? We've done it again. We've talked right up to the top of the hour, buddy.
Oh, okay, all the time.
All right. Well, another time maybe we'll.
And don't forget, we also can sell extremely lucrative agencies such as the port and the airport.
Oh, you want to sell those things off. See, we are the kings of the privatization conversation. Mike, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Hugging a kiss to Mom, would you? We're closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. This is The Point. Fox News coming up next. Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all the big stories. That's ahead. Right now, a word that the intersection at Route 1 and 10 Alpha, the traffic light there is in blink mode, and that's why you're stuck in traffic near the airport. That's what's going on here. News is next.
This is a Fox News alert. Guilty as charged. I'm Lisa Lacera. He was a stand-up comedian, a pitchman for Jell-O, and America's Dad. Now Bill Cosby could go to prison for the rest of his life. Found guilty on all counts in his sexual assault retrial. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live at the courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Lisa, Bill Cosby is still free for now. It could be up to 3 months before the soon-to-be 81-year-old will know his sentence. But before that, Montgomery County DA Kevin Steele says there are a few things that will happen.
There's a pre-sentence investigation that will be done. There'll be a sexually violent predator assessment that will be done. And all of these are standard procedures.
While defense attorney Tom Mesereau promises an appeal, the accusers that testified credit prosecutors and the Me Too movement for letting their voices be heard, Lisa.
Gernal Lily Bernard is one of Cosby's past accusers.
Today, this jury has shown that what the Me Too movement has saying is that women are worthy of being believed.
She calls the verdict not just a victory for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but also for the 62 women who also claim Cosby assaulted them. Newly minted Secretary of State Mike Pompeo hits the ground running.
The State Department says Secretary Pompeo will travel on this weekend to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Jordan. Pompeo begins his State Department tenure with major ongoing international discussions. The U.S. is negotiating with European countries to change policies towards Iran and keep President Trump from withdrawing from the Iran nuclear agreement. The president has set a May 12 deadline. Pompeo, the former CIA director, is already involved in setting up the meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Pompeo traveled to North Korea Easter weekend to discuss the summit and even met Kim. Those preparations continue.
Fox's Rich Edson at the State Department. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
the sound of great music,
The Grammy goes to...
and the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
Did you know over 80% of all vision impairments can be prevented or cured? Naval Academy and Johns Hopkins University graduate Dr. Peter Lombard has performed thousands of sight-saving procedures in Guam since 2010. He specializes in cataract surgery and can treat your diabetic eye disease, glaucoma, and much more. From simple vision exams to complex surgery, Lombard Health proudly accepts all insurance. Call today to book an appointment at 989-4747. Guam's best eye care, one patient at a time.
EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt grilled by lawmakers over his spending habits, and some are calling for him to be removed.
Under intense questioning by House Democrat John Tonko, Pruitt admitted his chief of staff signed off on raises in direct defiance of the White House.
I was not aware of the amount, nor was I... Not the amount. Were you aware of the raises? I was not aware of the amount.
Democrat Tony Cardenas wanted to know about a $43,000 soundproof phone booth installed in Pruitt's office.
So you were not involved in that? I was not involved in the approval of the $43,000.
Saying career professionals signed off on the money. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Investigators in Sacramento County, California, going through the home of James Joseph D'Angelo. He's the former police officer accused in a string of rapes and murders. A Sacramento County sheriff saying they're looking for jewelry and other items taken from crime scenes and for weapons and other items that can link D'Angelo to the Golden State Killer. Tens of thousands of teachers in Arizona walked out of class over school funding and pay.
Arizona's governor is proposing a 20% pay raise for teachers.
We've been kind of barely surviving for so long that when you hear something like that on the table, it was just hard to believe, but very encouraging.
Joe Howard's the superintendent for Prescott Unified School District. But for teachers, it's not enough. They want education funding levels back at pre-recession levels, which would take an extra $1 billion, roughly. They've been posting pictures to social media showing decrepit conditions at various schools. Governor Ducey issued a statement before the Thursday walkouts asking parents to pressure lawmakers to pass a 20% raise. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Executives for MGM and Wynn tamping down speculation. The companies are quietly in talks over Wynn's Boston area casino. Matt Maddox, the new Wynn Resort CEO, said in a CNBC interview, Boston is not for sale, referring to the company's Boston Harbor project. Wynn Resorts founder Steve Wynn stepped down over allegations of sexual misconduct. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Did you know you can save a little more when you save the water from washing off your produce? Place a strainer or colander over a large pot to catch the water when washing your fruits and veggies. Then recycle that water on your garden or for flushing the toilet.
Catch more clean and green living tips every day and get inspired to make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Happy Earth Month from the stations of Choice Broadcasting.
Brought to you in part by Body Arts Dance Studio. Body Arts goes to Hollywood with their spring recital Sunday, May 6th at the Sister Roberta Center, Mercy Heights. Tickets are $10 each. Call 477-6622 for more information.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking built by highly skilled local technicians so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy to spot better for you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Kim Anderson of Chalampago, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Itanotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Questions and calls for an investigation over a roadway that was cleared to Chamorro Land Trust properties in Barrigada Heights without the proper permits. The road clearing provides access to parcels of formerly inaccessible CLTC land, lots made available for as low as $1 a year and up to 99 years. Acting DPW Director Andy Leon Guerrero confirming that Land Management, which oversees the CLTC program, asked DPW to clear a 40-foot wide access road into the area. DPW dispatched heavy equipment to the site. Clearing began, but Leon Guerrero says they had to stop after Guam EPA advised that neither the Department of Agriculture or Guam EPA itself had signed off on the required permits. About 28 people got CLTC lots in the area of Barrigada Heights, among them DYA Director Peter Alexis Atta, Senator Regine Bisco Lee, and Barrigada Mayor June Blas and Vice Mayor Jesse Perez Bautista. Senator Lee says the lot was gifted to her by her mother. She's calling for an investigation to learn why the roadway was cleared without the proper permits. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. has also called on Land Management for an explanation. A student-hosted gubernatorial forum was held at Teton High School yesterday. Among the candidates, Democrat Lou Leon Guerrero, who said that she would support decriminalizing marijuana and treating it like any other regulated substance, such as alcohol. Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr., also seeking the Democratic nomination, said he does not support recreational marijuana, but he wants to ensure that the medicinal marijuana program that he does support is finally implemented. Republican Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, meanwhile, said recreational marijuana use requires more discussion, adding that federal legislation may soon change the way the substance is treated nationwide. Other topics discussed at the gubernatorial forum included health care and education. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and former Governor Carl Gutierrez were unable to attend. We'll have more news after this.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The attorney for the Guam Contractors Association and 11 other Guam businesses is asking the district court to hold the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service in contempt and impose sanctions against that federal agency for continuing to deny H-2B petitions from Guam employers seeking skilled foreign labor for non-military construction projects. Attorney Jeff Joseph filed a motion in Guam District Court this week charging the Immigration Service with continuing to deny H-2B petitions despite a preliminary injunction in January requiring them to reverse their previous denials and to stop the blanket denial of future petitions, and despite the court's decision on March 31st to grant class action status to the lawsuit. During the past month, the attorney said Guam Advance Enterprises, a potential class member, received notice that its petitions for 3 H-2B visas were denied by USCIS. Joseph says the immigration agency told him They believe that the class certification applies only to the ultimate final judgment and not to the previously issued injunction. Joseph counters that the court order is clear and he wants the federal agency held in contempt and sanctioned. 2 women charged in a conspiracy to promote major prison contraband at the Department of Corrections were sentenced to 3 years in prison yesterday. Yolanda Megofna and Jezebel Kinata received the minimum sentence as provided for in their plea agreements. Kinata is accused of giving crystal methamphetamine to former Attorney General's office staffer Joaquin Regis to give to an inmate, Yolanda Megofna, during visitation. The 3-year sentence to be served concurrent to Megofna's current sentence on separate criminal charges. She was also ordered to perform 150 hours of community service. Kinata was given credit for time served since her arrest in January of last year and will be placed on 3 years of parole upon her release. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
It says partly sunny with scattered showers. There's isolated thunderstorms this morning, then isolated showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Daytime highs near 88 degrees. Watch out for the heat index. It'll bring things to closer to 100 degrees at Peak Drive today. Mostly cloudy tonight and tomorrow with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms to boot. Improving weather by Sunday, so you got something to look forward to. Overnight lows about 77 degrees. Daytime highs, let's call it 88 degrees, shall we? Sunset tonight at 6:35. It's 8:12. That's studio time here on The Point.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manilao on Route 10. Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manilao. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Good plan. Tell you what, if you got the hungries on you right now and you don't have to be at work, you don't have to be at the office, now is a great time to run over to King's. Actually, any time is a great time to run over to King's because it's all the food that you have loved eating there for about the last 40 years. Always open, always local. We're talking about King's.
GTA's best internet deal has arrived. With fiber internet, you get up to 50 megabits of data per second for only $50 per month. And if that's not enough, Fiber Internet 50 plan includes free Wi-Fi. But this offer will only last through the month of April. So sign up today and get ready for faster downloads, more streaming, a better gaming experience, and a stable connection across multiple devices. Conditions may apply. Visit gta.net for more details. GTA, your island, your network.
When you absolutely need confidentiality in your real estate transactions, even the complex ones, these are the guys to call. Security Title.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, I don't know if they took care of the intersection, the blinky light over at the intersection of 1 and 10 Alpha just yet, but at least one of you have called in to report that there was a problem there. Looking at the traffic, we got time for a quick traffic report, right? Because I didn't do the second one in the last hour, and people might be stuck in traffic.
I believe this is called the Ray Gibson Show.
Come on,
we
Gib.
can do whatever you want.
8, 10, and 16. That's a busy intersection this morning, and from about where, let me see here, a little bit past the front gate of the Guam main facility. Looks like we've got traffic backed up through there into Happy Mart and then right through the intersection. Traffic also a little bit heavy in both directions leading up to 8, 10, and 16. So if you got to commute through there, I'd give it a few minutes and let things clear up a little bit more in the drive time. Marine Corps Drive, Upper Tumon, right up until you get about to St. John's. Looks like things are backed up there, and that's just congestion that's left over from what was happening up in Dededo in the intersection of 1 and 3. So there's plenty of traffic to talk about this morning. Programming note, that was the last newscast for Kevin Kerrigan this morning. I will take care of 8:30 headlines a little bit later on in the morning. But right now, it's time for Sports with Blake Cook. buddy. Okay, so you turn on your microphone, and then everybody can see. Blake is now sitting in Kevin's chair, which means that Blake gets his name on the set. You don't know how to turn it on? You press that button there.
That's right. It's my first day in radio here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I see you. It was a good time as usual, and I was looking at a couple of. I thought would make some interesting stories here because you got dog, right?
I have twice. I have dog twice.
You get double dogging. Okay, so I'll tell you the dog story a little bit later on.
Okay.
So what do we got with sports?
Well, we got a couple different things. IIAG high school girls soccer by request. St. Paul Christian School Warriors, the Lady Warriors, to be more exact. They saved the day by avoiding a loss to the undefeated JFK High School Lady Islanders as they trade 6 goals. And again, now, yesterday we had a tie, Ray, but no goals scored. Today,
right. I remember.
Again, no result, meaning there was a tie. Nobody won. But there were 3 goals scored, 6 goals in all, as the Lady Warriors of St. Paul tie up with the JFK High School Islanders. They're still undefeated, but now they have they got a tie on their record as well. And also wanted to say this: doing sports here for the last couple of years, I got to know some of the coaches pretty well, and one of them has become a friend of mine. He coached Jacob Dowdell, longtime football coach up on the hill at Guam High, coaching the Panthers, and he wants all of Guam to join him. I tweeted this out earlier at Blake on Air is my tweet handle. 3 p.m. at the Hilton Guam Resort Spa Ballroom because 6 athletes, I believe, 6, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, there's like 5 or 6 are going to sign their letter of intent to go play college sports elsewhere. Right?
No way.
Yeah. The nonprofit organization that Coach Dowdell has, he spread the word for Guam's players, and he has not just helped his own players up in Guam High, but Chris Parker, Evan Baharana from JFK are expected to publicly choose and sign letters of intent. DeAndre Cruz, Kai Akimoto, and Xavier Napati from FD, and Will Sanders from Guam High. So destination schools will be announced at 3 p.m. Saturday. Now, it does say today is the 27th, so it looks like the article that I'm reading says he wants all of Guam to join him at 3 p.m. April 27th. That's today, but then the article ends with saying that it's going to be announced 3 p.m. Saturday. So I'm not sure how the art, where the typo is or whatever. But either way, it looks like it's going to be tomorrow, even though the article says the 27th. So I'm going to say tomorrow, Hilton Ballroom, 3 p.m. It's open to the public. And if you want to see some Guam athletes further their athletic career and endeavors to go play collegiately,
that's so cool.
It's so cool. And honestly, I covered one of the.
They've already got the deals, right? All the guys, they're just a signing ceremony.
Yeah, just
right?
got to show up, sign, pick the hat, just like they do on ESPN. And what's really cool is I was there for his very first one. He held it at night, Ray, on like a Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. in the Guam High Library. And this was a couple years ago.
And now look how big it is.
Yeah, and I was there for the very first one, and not sure if I'll be able to make it physically there. I will send a nice note to the coach and tell him congrats. But it has definitely grown, and like I said, it's not just Guam High players now. He's branched out to all the high school athletes. So good things from Coach Jacob Dowdell, who has been a longtime football coach here on Island.
Keep it up. Melinda Castro, in a related kind of thing, the Skip Entertainment Company, they go into these massive competitions.
They get to
nationwide.
travel a lot.
Oh yeah. So they need money for travels. So Melinda Castro is placed on Facebook, and I'm talking about it on the radio now. Go and support the cause. Get your car washed Sunday the 29th from 9 until 2 at the Payless corporate offices in Agana, right across the street from where we used to work at the Bank of Guam. Daughter Isabel and the Skip Entertainment Company are representing Guam in a dance competition in Myrtle Beach,
South Carolina,
and in Anaheim, California.
Hey, the pond.
So $5 donation, and it'll go to help cover the nut for Isabel Castro's traveling expenses. Now I got it. Yes. Don't talk about rain. Don't talk about it. You're going to talk about rain.
No, I'm not. Actually, I was going to say
because it's going to rain on Sunday.
No, I was going to say, speaking of cars, Japan has made a real transformer.
A what?
A real transformer.
Is
a car that's a robot that becomes a car, and people can actually sit in the car and drive it.
Well, it transforms, though, no?
It does transform. Yeah, they just had it on the screen just a moment
I got some
ago.
friends that say they have people like that in the Philippines already. Anyway, it's 8:21 in the morning, and very close here to a personal friend of mine, Carl Pangolina. That's Carl with a K on the telephone line, and I want to welcome him to the program. Good morning, Carl.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, not a problem. You got a big golf fundraiser that's coming up, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. And, conveniently, it's going to take place on Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if you know anything about the Nice Birdie Golf Club, but we're known as kind of the drinking club with the golfing problem, right? So that date was available, and I mean it's all for a good cause. This is our second year. This is the second year of the Chris Bajado Memorial Golf Tournament for one of our good buddies who was just gone before his time.
He was obviously we worked together at K57. He did the tourism and youth program, and loved doing that, and was able to take his passion for the hospitality industry and open up the two restaurants, Pros, and you're right, gone too soon. That's one of the tragedies surrounding FestPac. He was so into that, and unfortunately just suddenly passed, and left a lot of friends. Just loving him and missing him. So he's a great opportunity for all of the. He's a golfer. Great opportunity for all the guys to get together and reminisce and share and catalog stories about the great guy, Chris.
Yes, it's so cool. I'm the lucky one that gets to go out and promote this thing, every year, and every time, every sit down that I have. I mean, I hear story after story, and I share a ton of them as well. And I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool just to have had him, for as long as we did. But so we decided as a golf club last year to memorialize this and to host a golf tournament. And the proceeds from the golf tournament actually go toward two very, very passionate movements that Chris was associated with.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we were able to make some meaningful donations to the GCC Culinary Academy.
Yeah.
To the tune of $2,500, and we also gave $2,500 to the Ulitao organization, the seafaring organization that Chris was very, very passionate about. So, we're happy about that, and we're hoping to improve on that this year.
Well, all we got to do is get guys signed up, and I think you just put the word out here, and then you don't need to go on the other radio stations and promote it. It's just we'll see if we can knock out all 150 golf carts that you're going to fill.
Yeah, I mean, our battle cry. We just had our club meeting over at the venue, and our battle cry was prizes and players. That's what we need, prizes and players.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, how do we sign up? Tell me where do I go? What website?
Yeah. Let me get you the specifics here. We've got a Facebook page going, and I mean, I think just within the network of our golf club, I mean, we touch about 1 million people already, but just trying to get some additional word out. So we've got a Facebook page up, and on that Facebook page, we'll have all the tournament specifics, the application, the sponsor forms, and whatnot. So, yeah, it should be under the second annual Chris Bajado Memorial Golf Tournament on Facebook if you want to search it. If you got a friend in the golf club, which I think a lot of people do, we'll go ahead and be sharing that in the next few days. But, yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of sponsors to thank, and everyone, this is like such an easy cause for people to come together and, open up and offer their products and prizes. And, we've been touched. We've been fortunate. We don't have to do too much work. All you got to do is say, this is for Chris, and, people open up. So,
well, yeah, because Chris was the guy that you went to and asked for stuff, and he never said no.
Never.
So if you're on my Facebook live thing with the video, and you can see me and you can see Blake in there, I've just put a link to the search bar on Facebook. So if you click on that, it should take you directly to the second annual Chris Bajado golf tournament.
Always good to have geeky friends that way. Thanks, Ray.
I got the technology. I can do that for you. I want to get all as I said, I don't want to say it's 150 golf carts. Is that how many you got to put out, or is it 75 with guys?
We've already got 100 players, so we're going to cap it at 144.
Right on.
So, act fast, sign up now. We've got a ton of people that will be, receiving all of these emails. As they come in, we're going to populate the player universe list, and we're hoping to max out. Again, this isn't going to be a run-of-the-mill golf tournament. We want to be known for what Chris was known for, and that's just putting on a party and having good food, right? So we got, of course, the boys from PROA will be up there setting up, and as you register and as you sign in, We're going to feed you well. We've got people donating Pasta gas to be barbecuing at the turn. We've got all kinds of food stations out there. Crust is coming into play. So is Lone Star. Just friends from everywhere are going to be donating in some form to this event. So it'll be a lot of fun.
If you need more airtime, give me another ring next week, and we'll see if we can get you up to 144. All right?
Absolutely will.
All right, Carl, I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Hey.
You have an outstanding one. I hate to hurry him along, but there's other folks that need to get something on the air as well. Jane Flores from the Guam Community College is chiming in this morning. Hey, Jane, it's wine tasting night, right?
It sure is, and I just want to say that Chris Fajardo was a great supporter of GCC's culinary program, being an awesome chef himself, and we remember him. And speaking of great food, if you've had a tough week, or even if you haven't had a tough week, if you've had a great week, come on down to our happy hour wine tasting tonight at the GCC Learning Resource Center. $75 gets you all the wine you can drink responsibly, and some awesome hors d'oeuvres from our culinary arts students and chefs, and some great raffle prizes, music by Joe Guam. It's going to be a really nice evening.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, this is my favorite kind of Friday, where we can kind of push off the issues a little bit and talk about things that we're doing as a community. Isn't that great?
It's payday.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, well,
that's why it's my favorite payday.
Yeah,
it's my payday. That's why I like it.
We actually got money that we can go and plunk down in front of Jane over at GCC.
And it goes
Jane.
for scholarships, a great cause, and you can get tickets at the door.
Gotcha. If you want information and you need some last-minute stuff, give Jane a call or somebody at Guam Community College. What's the number?
735-5638.
And you can find it on the website?
Yes, you can. www.guamcc.edu.
Like we've done it before. Jane, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much, Ray.
You're
Have a
welcome.
Good day, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you tonight.
I know it'll be a huge success for GCC tonight, and I know the golf tournament's going to be just massive. So earlier we were talking about dogs, and you got dogs times two, right?
Twice.
Have you had the occasion to have to take the dog to the vet to have something removed from the insides of the dogs?
Not the inside. Normally, I'm having to take them to the vet to get them removed from each other. Because I got an English bulldog and a pit bull, and they're sisters, and they play rough.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, to the English
do you
bulldog,
actually have anything at your house that's still good? Because as you say, they play rough and they eat everything. They didn't need to take a bite out of everything.
No. You know what? The biggest casualty has been my daughter's toys. That's been the biggest thing. She's chewed up about 3 Ilmos. One of them I got upset about because it was a baby Ilmo. I actually went to Osaka. I went to Universal Studios Osaka to get, and then bring it home, and the bulldog chews it up in like a day.
Crazy. So there's a story of St. Bernard in England. The family thought that the dog had cancer, took it to the vet. The vet opened up the dog, and instead of finding cancer, he found 4 half-eaten teddy bears.
Half-eaten teddy bears. I wonder if they were the Vermont kind.
It could be. You've seen St. Bernards, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're massive dogs. I mean, it's a miracle that they were able to find anything into the
That's the
massive,
dog you need, though, because they come with kegs around their neck.
The problem, you know what I used to have when I was a little boy? We used to have a St. Bernard, and they look, the big, massive dogs, and they look like they're fun to play with, and they are. They're great animals, but they're slobbery. They're slobber dogs.
Yeah.
And you get it on you, and you'll never ever get it off, and it gets on everything. Yeah.
You know what?
We didn't have that dog for long, I think. Gretchen went somewhere. I don't know.
Gretchen. Keeping with animals, sad news today, and this is just really to kind of also flex the fact that I'm into very alternative sports. It's my upbringing. But in the sad week in the world of PBR, that is professional bull riding, I grew up watching it. I still keep up with it today. Yeah. The reigning #1 bull, his name Pearl Harbor. He's ranked #1 in the world. He is 12-0, 100% buck-off rate, meaning no one has been able to ride him. Posting a season average of score, because if you don't know, real quick, bull riding, half of your score is based on the rider, whether you can stay on for 8 seconds or not, and your form, and then the other half is based on the bull. So you could have a perfect ride, but if you don't have a good bull, then you're
points against you.
Right. So anyway, I said all that to say he's averaging about 45 points, so he's been doing good, and his part for the riders. He passed away
Number one ranked bull in the world, which is kind of like losing LeBron James. You know what I mean? I mean, like, that's the number one athlete in the sport. And he passed away due to a neck injury this week. So rest in peace. Thanks for the memories.
Look for him at a hamburger near you.
That's right.
That was exactly what was going through my head.
Pearl Harbor.
I'm sorry. So how? Just what do we do? Because they ain't gonna bury him. It's not like he's gonna get a soldier's burial or something like that. I mean, we're gonna take and we'll pray over the carcass, and then we'll give it to the butcher, and the butcher is going to come back with top sirloin, and is going to come back with the flank, and is going to come back with the skirt and all of that, right?
But one thing that both Blake and I know is that after they hit a certain age, that meat's not.
Well,
really
I was just about to say. So to add this, he was owned by reigning, which this is just me flexing my knowledge here. Reigning PBR Stock Contractor of the Year, a guy named Chad Berger, who turns out very good animals. He's owned by him, and he was 6 years old, Mike. So he's young and tender.
At the risk of belaboring this, I don't care how old the animal is or what kind of, what the quality of the meat is. Listen, I've eaten at enough restaurants where they know how to do things with the tenderizer, with the pectin chemicals, and there are ways that you might be able to soften that meat. And I just love to be able to say I'm eating a world class, as a riding bull.
I guess now's a good time to point out the irony that the guy's name is Berger.
I did.
Chad Berger, yeah. And,
not missed on me at all. 8:33, and we got to get you back over to your radio station. And
I'm going to go mourn the number one bull in the land, Pearl Harbor, who bucked off Fernando Henrique Noveas in his last outing in 5 seconds.
Yep. And appropriate, because I got to get to more bull here on the program. It's 8:33 in the morning. We'll call that iConnect time. iConnect. Are you not ready with that? Catch the producer by surprise. Did you want me to go directly into the headlines? I can do that. I can do that as well. See, it's weird because Kevin's not here right now. we're out of space and out of time, and I've let a couple of phone calls go a little bit too long. So what's your pleasure there, Captain? You good? Okay, well, you work on that, and I'm going to go on. I'm going to let you go.
I'm going to go. Yeah,
I'm going to cut that guy over there.
You don't need me.
No, and then
Happy
give
Friday,
me
everybody.
an opportunity, him and Haw, my way through all of this. Student-hosted gubernatorial forum was held at Tiedzen High School yesterday. Among the candidates, Democrat Lou Leon Guerrero, who said she would support decriminalizing marijuana and treating it like any other regulated substance like alcohol. Senator Dennis Rodriguez, also seeking the Democratic nomination, said he does not support recreational marijuana, but he wants to ensure that the medicinal marijuana program that he supports is finally implemented. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio said recreational marijuana use requires more discussion, adding that federal legislation may soon change the way the substance is treated nationwide. Other topics discussed at the forum, including health care and education. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez were unable to attend the event. Drugs, cash, and guns were recovered during a raid Wednesday on a unit at the Casa de Flores apartments in Agana Heights. The Mandania Drug Task Force and SWAT officers executed a search warrant after receiving information about drug activity at the apartment. They found 42-year-old Enrique Harris Guerrero on allegations of drug possession and distribution. Inside the apartment, police seized about 20 grams of marijuana, 1.5 grams of meth, some ecstasy, and 5 doses of LSD. There's $3,300 in cash, and they also received a bolt-action rifle, 2 handguns, and the ammunition for them. Another $13 million in tax refund checks will be going out Monday. Governor's office announced yesterday that about 2,700 tax refund checks will be going out, covering returns filed up to February, who's still in, the 4th. This will be only the third release of the 2017 tax refunds this year, all of which have occurred this month. All eyes now on Mike St. Nicholas to see if he is going to ratify the nomination of Mr. Byrne as the new director of the Department of Administration. And with Monday's release of $13 million more, that will raise the total to $33 million in refunds that have been sent out in April. For these stories and more, log into postguam.com or pick up a copy of Guam's Daily Post. Today's Guam's Daily Post. iConnect time is 8:36. iConnect wants you to connect longer for less money with their great push-to-talk and mobile plans.
How about when we lend you money for your home, we pay for your appraisal? That's right. When we make you a loan, we'll pay for the actual cost of your standard appraisal up to $1,500. Add that to our super low rates, and you'll see why so many people are coming to Bank Pacific for their home loan. So join them by joining us, Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others
finishes, replace roofs.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
They got the avocado at Wendy's, the new Southwest Avocado Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Now, I'm here to tell you that you can get a spicy chicken sandwich virtually everywhere. They'll do it. But the guys over at Wendy's, they go, yeah, we're not going to do it the way everybody else does. So this is the way they lay it out. A crispy, spicy chicken, then they kick that up with pepper jack cheese. And that might require a little bit of cooling down, so they put some Southwest Ranch on that. Applewood bacon, because it's Wendy's. And you finish it off with a cool, creamy slab of avocado. Also available, the new Southwest Avocado Chicken Salad for those of you that want all of that treatment but don't want the bread. We'll take that with iceberg lettuce, thanks. Available for a limited time, so stop by the nearest Wendy's and try one today. Wendy's, now that's better.
Looking for a reliable power system when the power goes out? Kohler Power Systems are quiet, reliable, and dependable. And they stay that way with regular service and support from the team at Morico Equipment, because they also offer qualified after-sales service and support for Kohler Power Systems. Kohler generator systems are sold and serviced on Guam by Morico Equipment. You should call them now at 649-1946 or click moricoequipment.com.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
What? Traffic? Is there still traffic? It's already 20 to 9. There can't be any more traffic left. Well, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot that's going to slow you down. Coming up Santos Hill, out of Tumon towards Marine Corps Drive. Going to be a little bit slow as you make your way up that hill. It just is. And then you get onto Marine Corps Drive, and you might get into a line of traffic that has been brewing there all morning long. But once you get past St. John's, as usual, should be clear going. There's still some places where you might see a little bit of busyness over in Manila near the university, up through Route 4 into Chalanpago, but it clears up way before you get into Ordot and Sinanya. So looks like for the most part, Peak Drive is just about done. 20 to 9, that's traffic on the point.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue. Fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
You like that?
Yeah, I got it.
That's one of the ones I added yesterday.
Yeah, it's nice. I dig it. Frank DeHito's online. Good to see you there. Jimmy Moylan is on the Facebook Live. Gizmo, Clint James, Natalie Canetta, Hafalai, Rick Blancaflor, Paris Mendiola Blas. We'll always have Paris. There's Rita Hugo. Nice to see you there. And a gaggle of other guys and girls that have tuned in on the Facebook Live. It's one of my favorite ways to communicate with you now. Tina Munya Barnes, former senators there. I got Renee and Pat Tagui. Ray Miranda. Sing to me, Ramon. Don't wait until church light. Call up and you can sing on the radio today. I see Deanna Palmer and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the way this works, there's a lot of people that will jump on early because we start doing this at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I get that there's folks in the second string of the morning drive that just want to be as caught up and as connected as everybody else. So this is the way to do it. You can listen to me at 93.3 FM. There was a flare-up in one of my HD gizmos, so the HD3 thing is temporarily down, but I'll fix that. That's not hard. And then there's a couple of other ways that you can listen to us. Go to thepoint.gu And you can click on Listen Live, and it'll open up a desktop player. And if you open up the Facebook link on that, it will actually open up the Facebook Live deal for you as well. But if you just want to watch and see, I got it floating in a little box on thepoint.gu. And then, of course, there's my favorite innovation here, and that is taking the broadcast with cameras in the studio and lower thirds and logo bugs and all of that and sticking it on Facebook Live. Now, it's just any ordinary video feed, right? No, because it's on Facebook Live, I can see who's there. I can say your name, like the lady in Romper Room that Andre was talking about earlier this morning. I can see you, and you can talk to me, and I can talk back with you, and you can talk to each other if you like. And that'll be cool. And so that's another great way that we are using technology here at this radio station to try to enhance your, enjoyment of the program. And if for no other reason, just to see whether I got fluffy hair today or not. I think there's a little bit of fluff going on top of that. At any rate, so there's a bunch of stuff that we've already talked about this morning. And if need be, I can go back on some of that. I think one of the big stories that are floating around out there is all of a sudden we've got access to cash. How much cash do we have? Well, obviously enough to make paydays and cover some of the debts in the government of Guam, and enough then to be able to send out, get this now, $33 million in tax refunds. Now, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, and I don't like it when the administration makes a big deal about it, because all they're doing is returning money that they owe you. You have overpaid somehow. In 2017, you put in a return that said, this is how much I've overpaid the government. Can I have it back? And their job is to give it back to you. Do you think that when the IRS sends a tax refund to somebody's house, there's a note there from the President of the United States? Hey, look at what we've done for you. It's our job of the federal government to make sure that you get your tax refund. No, it just shows up in your bank account. There you go. There's the tax refund, guys. So we're going to, at some point, get to a point where this can happen without any fanfare, without any press releases from the $100,000 press club, the drama club at the governor's office, and it'll just happen like that, if you know what I mean. So we'll reward you for getting the dough in early. The other big story started with some clearing up in Barragata Heights. It looked like there was a road going up the side of the hill. And a bunch of the people down at the bottom of the hill said, hey, this is causing some flooding here. And Frank Huggan got into the act, said, tell you what, they got to find out what's going on. Come to find out that the permits weren't done correctly. So everything has been put on hold. In the meantime, people are starting to look at that saying, okay, Chamorro Land Trust properties in Barragata Heights, really? There's other places that could use some of the attention of a new road and a little bit of infrastructure here as opposed to Barragata Heights. And then they started looking at the people associated with these properties now that are going to get landed into Barragata Heights. And we've got a sitting senator of the legislature and former Department of Education board chair, Peter Alexis Adda, and the mayor and vice mayor of Barragata. So you have to look at this and go, there is, in fact, the appearance of impropriety. As I said, a sitting senator in the legislature whose name now is on that list, but it's not as though she had applied for the land, if that's my understanding. Senator Regine Bisco-Lee's on the line with me now. Good morning. Oh, wait a second. It's not? Well, who's it then? Oh. No, this is even more important. I'm sorry, all of that setup, and I got the wrong name on the wrong line. Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, good morning.
Good morning, Ray. I know you've been trying to get a hold of me, but when the number calls and I don't identify, I don't pick it up.
Just assume whenever it's a number that you don't recognize, it's probably me just trying to get a hold of you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well,
we did call it back, and it was your radio station, so I cleared up the mystery. So you're no longer a mystery at that number.
I'm no longer unknown. That's fine. And we got so many different ways to do it. I can call you on 888-8255, but it might not show up as that number because we use some aliasing technology here.
Yeah.
It might not show up as that number on your phone. At any rate, the reason why I called, because I think this is such a massive deal now, is the compact reimbursement. And earlier in the week, there was a story floating around that you are actively working on that now with, is it not the State Department, Office of Interior, to try to get us to a point where we can correctly and adequately identify these folks that are causing an impact and determine whether or not they are compact migrants so that we can go back to Interior, back to D.C., and start to get compensated for them?
Well, it's a little bit more than just knowing how to count. It's also, once we have an accurate definition of how we're counting it and we know how to account for it, it's to attach a cost value to that. So that's what's called the methodology. And I think all of us who have been in this field of government, doesn't matter what agency you're working on, but have felt the impact of the Compact of Free Association. Certainly when I was over at the Judiciary and now at the Attorney General's office. And there's been so much discussion about the methodology, and I sort of got together a group of passionate minds and liked minds about compact impact. And with some of the data and reviewing a lot of the audits, we sort of looked at each other and we said, well, why hasn't someone developed the methodology?
Well, can I ask why it has to be us? I mean, it sounds to me to be something that should have come to us from the federal government. I mean, and it should have been part of the original discussion, the original treaties, that we're going to be allowing for unfettered access to the United States of America and its territory for the citizens of these nations, and there is going to be a financial impact on these territories, and this is how we will count them so that we can accurately recompense the states and territories for the impact.
Well, I think it's a two-way street. I don't think the territory can just rely on whatever methodology Interior wants to come up with. And I think we've seen over 4 decades they're not going to do the methodology.
Right.
They want Guam, Hawaii, or the various states to do so. So what we've done is, well, all right, then we've applied. My office, I told the governor, I said, my office will take the lead on it. We'll apply for an Interior grant, which goes through the governor's office, and allow us to bid out, to get those doctoral statistical methodology consultants out there, or some organization, some business that wants to do the methodology, and sit down with us. And and this has to be a joint effort, not just the territory through this grant, but also coordinating with Interior. You are absolutely right. Interior has a responsibility there, and I think working jointly with them, we can come up with that methodology for Guam.
I have very little confidence in this, because over all of these years we have heard from people in the Interior that kind of shined us on all of this time, and they've in fact have provided some guidance on this, and then we do what they tell us to do, and we send them the bills, and they say, well, you do it differently than Hawaii does, and they do it differently than Saipan does, so you guys all got to get on the same page in terms of how we're going to be able to count, and then how we're going to bill for the expenses brought on by the compact migrants. So I've got very little confidence that we're going to do this. I just got this feeling like you're going to go through all of this work, and they'll put up another roadblock down the road that will identify another issue that we're going to have to correct before we can go from getting $14 to $16 million to getting the $150, $180 million that we believe that we're owed.
Well, then there could always be another lawsuit, the infamous Carlotta Leon Guerrero versus Bill Clinton.
Do it!
I mean, I think that the way I've always worked in presenting a challenge, whether it's in litigation or otherwise, is the only people that are really listened to are not necessarily the politicians, but the experts. So GAO in a couple of our audits they are presumed to be some of the experts, and they've actually approved a couple of our figures. We take the low-hanging fruit. GAO has previously said, we agree with the cost analysis and the counting of the Department of Education, and that figure was like $200 million.
Right.
Well, so what did we do with it? GAO says we like that. I think the Office of the Attorney General, they said they liked portions of our counting and our cost analysis. They didn't like other parts of it. So you get an expert and you pull that all together. And if there continues to be this resistance in the federal administration about it, really that's when you step over into Congress, and enough's enough. And let's have those public hearings. Let's all, be there and say that our experts have analyzed it in this way. And it's very hard to what do you do when an expert says, based on my professional opinion, it is this, And again, my concept is it's not just the territory presenting the methodology, but it's the territory seeking a vendor to get the methodology in coordination with the responsibility of the Department of Interior to work with us on this.
I don't disagree, but you've seen cases obviously where even an expert will be can be subject to weird questions, and they're going to say, well, of course you're the expert, and of course these are the findings that you're going to conclude because Guam paid for you to come up with these findings, and as I say, it's just a question of confidence in the federal government. We had Dominique here the other day, and I think he came in and avoided the conversation by giving the governor a check for $6 million, which is a drop in the bucket in comparison to what I think some of the other receivables ought to be for us at this point.
Yeah. You're right. You never know what any particular administration is going to say, and we've gone through so many administrations, whether Clinton, Bush, Obama, and now we're into the Trump administration. I just wanted to give this a shot, and I wanted to use Interior's money.
No, it's a down payment. Can we call that a down payment?
Yeah, and one of the other approaches in this little brain group that I kind of stick together with is the opportunity that if the methodology does come out, and we can perhaps seek the offset, the debt. The compact impact debt relief. So Congress, you are not going to give us $200 million for Department of Education, but can you then on debt relief over in the Medicaid issue, not require us to do the matching? I think we need to do $90 million to get $200 million.
Yeah.
Don't do the matching on that one. So I'd like to get the product and then see how the product can be used. I'm conscious of the fact that the federal government on just every aspect. I mean, my goodness, we have so many lawsuits with them right now. I have the CERCLA lawsuit trying to get recovery on the $200 million that we
for the receiver
for the ORDOT closure. Yeah, the ORDOT closure, and trying to defend on the Chamorro Land Trust. It's frustrating, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic more than pessimistic. But prove me wrong, Ray.
I don't want to. I'd love to. I want to be able to say this is a great plan. We're going to work with the Department of Interior that has the most altruistic ideas, the altruistic goals in mind for all of the people of the Pacific, and they're going to do right by us. But there have been so many chances for them to do right by us, and it looks like we've had many opportunities for them to hear the whole story, but clearly nobody is listening. And we're left holding the bag, and I believe subsidizing the governments of these faraway island nations who don't want to build a hospital, that don't want to build a school, don't want to stand up an economy where their people have a shot at a better life. So, for numbers of men and women in the thousands, get on the airplane and get to the nearest United States of America and try your luck out there. And it's us. The other questions, and if we can delve a little bit into some of the methodology, I guess there are questions now, after multiple generations of compact migrants that live on Guam, that there are some of them that can't necessarily be considered part of the compact impact on our economy because they're born here and raised here. How do we account for that and that impact in our systems?
That's part of the definition. I think that's part of the definition. Do we want to include them in the methodology but for the fact that their parents came over during the Great Migration of the late 80s and early 90s, that they would not be here. So in my mind, I think they need to be counted.
I agree.
As a consequence, yeah.
I agree.
I agree. So add that to the methodology. I don't know if Interior currently looks upon that, but for the fact of the Compact of Free Association, that young now U.S. citizen of Micronesian ethnicity is now part of our great nation. But what is the impact and that continued impact of the compact? So I would count them as part of it.
Well, would another negotiating point in some kind of settlement be, listen, we like the idea, they're here, many of them are contributing, we want them to get an education, we want them to have their health care taken care of. We can't afford it at Guam Memorial Hospital, we can't afford it in the Guam Department of Education. It's causing us to build classrooms and hire more aides and hire more teachers, and the costs are overwhelming to GDOE. Is it possible that these wards of the federal government, invitees of the federal government, can now attend school at Dodea, can now get their medical treatment at Navy Hospital? Use that as the negotiating point. And if they get in trouble, break the law here on Guam, we'll consider that a federal offense and carry them in as federal detainees.
Yeah. You know, the only time that sometimes Guam ever gets listened to is if you press the button. Governor Calvo pressed the button on the deportation, and now we have the federal government's response. The pressing the button on H-2 visas. Mm-hmm. So, with regard to if we have a methodology, if it's developed by experts in the field, and if we continue to be ignored on the methodology, then the approach is either is there a court action or is there a congressional action? You go into the judiciary, you go into Congress, because we're not getting the type of support we need in the executive. So the option is to jump into the arena of the other two branches of government. I don't know. That's so far down the line. And hopefully that we can...
Well, you're going to get reelected, aren't you?
Positive.
You're going to get reelected, right? You're going to do another 4 years.
This is not a job in perpetuity.
Well, it's the big deal, though. I mean, if you ask me, I think, and there are times where I disagree with the governor. There are times I agree with him, and I agree in this point is that we just continue to get railroaded because we don't have an effective relationship with the federal government that treats us as equals in these conversations, and so we're stuck with whatever somebody decided a long time ago, which was going to be a good reimbursement rate, which my understanding is, you talked to Frank Uggan about, to Frank Bloss about this, when they came up with that $30 million figure, that was a ballpark. They just pulled that out of the, well, I'm going to say they pulled it out of the air, but perhaps another orifice where that number came from, because it has not been good for any of us, including the state of Hawaii. See, this is the other thing that makes me wary, is we've also got compact migration issues in the state of Hawaii, and they are not getting recompensed properly. And if the state of Hawaii can do it with all of their resources, with all of their access to Washington, D.C. and policymakers there, what can we do here on Guam? That's the scary part. Hey, I got to go, AG.
Very nice talking to you, and I recognize the number.
I got you. Well, we'll feel free to call and
to all your listeners, too.
I got you. We'll feel free to call you and bug you anytime. Elizabeth Anderson, Barrett Anderson from the Attorney General's office, talking about a plan that she's got. Unfortunately, ran out of time because I would have liked to have asked her if she got a note from Regine Bisco Lee about looking into this mess at the Chamorro Land Trust and those properties up on the Tony neighborhood of Barragata Heights. We are KUSG Hagåtña. This is The Point, and this is Fox News.
Going on the record, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Fired FBI Director James Comey sits down with Fox's Brett Baer for a wide-ranging interview. One of the topics, the Mueller investigation. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
Lisa, this morning on Fox and Friends, President Trump called former FBI Director James Comey, whom he fired, a leaker and a liar, that he leaked information to get a special counsel investigation on Trump started. Now, this evening on Special Report, Comey said the memos he gave to a friend to give to the media about his conversations with the president were not leaks.
That memo was unclassified then. It's still unclassified. It's in my book. The FBI cleared that book before it could be published. That's a false statement.
He said he still does not know who exactly funded the now infamous dossier, just that it was compiled by the president's opponents, and that it was only a small part of a request for authorization to surveil a former Trump campaign advisor. Lisa.
Jessica, Bill Cosby remains free on bail after being found guilty earlier today on sexual assault charges.
The jury has spoken with one voice in a court of law and found the defendant guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant in his Elkins Park home.
Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele. Dolores Troiani is the attorney for Andrea Constant.
This is a life-altering experience for any woman, any victim. And the person who I think needs to be heralded for what she has done is Andrea.
And she adds, justice was not denied, but it was delayed. Cosby's attorney promises an appeal. Police in the state of Maine continue to ask for the public's help in tracking down the suspect in the shooting of a sheriff's deputy. 29-year-old John Williams wanted in the death of Somerset County Corporal Eugene Cole. Somerset County District Attorney Dale Lancaster asking him to turn himself in. Fox News, fair and balanced.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
GTA's best internet deal has arrived. With fiber internet, you get up to 50 megabits of data per second for only $50 per month. And if that's not enough, Fiber Internet 50 plan includes free Wi-Fi. But this offer will only last through the month of April. So sign up today and get ready for faster downloads, more streaming, a better gaming experience, and a stable connection across multiple devices. Conditions may apply. Visit gta.net for more details. GTA, your island, your network.
Funeral arrangements set for 2 of the 4 people killed in last Sunday's shooting at a Waffle House in Nashville. D. Ebony Grove's visitation set for tomorrow. The memorial service for restaurant worker Torian Sanderlin will be held Saturday. The parents of Otto Warmbier have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against North Korea, saying its government tortured and killed their son. Fred and Cindy Warmbier filed the suit today in Washington, D.C. The lawsuit seeks compensation for the death of Otto, who was arrested by North Korean authorities in 2016. They say he stole a propaganda poster, and they would sentence him to 15 years in prison. He died in June 2017, days after he was released to the U.S. with severe brain damage. Fred Warmbier said in a statement his son was taken hostage, kept as a prisoner for political purposes, used as a pawn, and singled out for exceptionally harsh and brutal treatment by Kim Jong-un. Defense Secretary James Mattis telling a Senate committee the investigation into an ambush of U.S. soldiers in Niger last October is complete.
Secretary Mattis told a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing Thursday he has given a 200-page classified summary to Congress. The Defense Secretary says the report stretches more than 6,000 pages. Mattis acknowledged there was not one but many problems that led to 4 American soldiers being ambushed by roughly 50 heavily armed ISIS-affiliated fighters more than 6 months ago in West Africa.
I think right now we have found what we believe to be the crux of the problems, not problem, but problems that contributed to this. It was not a delegation of authority problem.
A Pentagon press conference is expected next week. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
50 years after his assassination, Netflix taking a look at the life of Bobby Kennedy with a new 4-part documentary series. Bobby Kennedy for President is available beginning midnight tonight. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Summer's right around the corner, but first shift into spring with Triple J. With 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in, now is the time to buy. Get into our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $217 per paycheck. Car and Drivers 10 Best, Mazda CX-9 at $242 per paycheck. The Mazda 3 Sedan at only $137 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord at only $216 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
And portions of the program brought to you by King's Restaurant, open right now, ready to serve you. Do you want lunch at breakfast time? They can do that. You want to eat fried chicken at 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning? No sweat, amigo. How about you go in there at 9 o'clock at night and go, you know, I really like a King special. Couple of eggs, bacon, some toast. Now, what do you say? Can we do that at 9? Yes, you absolutely can. Always open, always local. It's King's.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Hafa adai, my name is James Moylan, and I'm running for a seat as your senator. The people of Guam expect more from their leaders, and I intend on delivering. If given the opportunity, I will bring my experiences in the military, public, and private sectors. I understand that during challenging times, tough decisions and an open mind are needed. Your tax dollars also need to be spent wisely. If you expect more from your elected officials and expect them to think outside of the box, then I humbly ask for your support this November. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect James Camacho Moylan for Senator, Carlos Camacho, Treasurer.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I got 8 after 9. Hi, my name is Ray Gibson. This is the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. Kevin Kerrigan is out chasing some business that you'll read about tomorrow morning at the Bank of Guam. They've got an economic forum that's going on this morning until about 10:30. So we've let him out early to go and take care of that. But still, Mike and I that can talk to you about a variety of things. And in a second, we've got Karina Farron's going to talk about a big get together Sunday at the Dusitani. But before we do that, I want to say a couple of things. Happy birthday to another Karina, the Karina over at Dr. Shea's office. Karina Valera is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, and Agira Niriarty, and Bob Delphin has got a birthday today. So if you know those guys, jump on Facebook where I found their birthdays and say happy birthday and buy them shots. Right now. Just don't wait until happy hour. Just go and get them some Jell-O shots right now.
Can I have a shot right now?
I was at 10 o'clock. We can have shots. I was also, pondering and looking at the social media this morning, and Kat Phillips, who's a listener of the program, was mentioning that the last thing that she heard before getting out of the car was my hollering out, "I'm a pickle, Morty, pickle Rick." From the Rick and Morty program. She said, what a great way to end the week. So if you've never seen it, just Google Rick and Morty Pickle Rick episode, and it might be one of the best ones that they put together out of 3 incredible years of very, very off-color, very racy. Don't let the kids watch it. If the mom's around, because everybody's going to get in trouble. But the other thing I found, and if you don't mind, we'll just go down a list of the big songs from the 27th of April of 1985, and Karina Farron is going to remember all of these songs. Number 1 was Madonna and Crazy for You. From Vision Quest, We Are the World, USA for Africa, Rhythm of the Night from DeBarge, Don't You Forget About Me, right? Simple Minds, The Breakfast Club. Yeah. One Night in Bangkok by Murray Head.
All these great songs we play on Boss.
That's right. It's a playlist here. Don Henley's All She Wants to Do Is Dance. Everything She Wants by Wham. And there's Power Station. Sade's Smooth Operator was number 12 with a bullet. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Tears for Fears was number 13. That one had a bullet as well. The new songs that week were Madonna's Angel, and Alison Moyet from the Yaz did a song called Invisible, which is just some great tunes from 1985. We don't play them, but if you want to hear them, call Daryl Izama, and he's at 888-1043, and he'll be able to take care of it. But don't call him now. Just wait a couple of minutes.
They can always call me tomorrow morning.
Or, give Michael Knight a call. He does the morning after the night before show on The Boss on Saturday mornings. So Karina's in here, and there is a big deal going on, and I'm going to start broad, and then we'll work our way into the narrow stuff like times, dates, etc. But Dusitani is going to be the scene for a carnival, a circus, if you will, this weekend.
Actually, it's a children's carnival ball. So our theme is carnival. So it's a ball for the kids.
That's right. That's right. But
and
I'm
the
going to say
theme
it's
is
a carnival. 'Cause
theme is carnival.
I don't know what the government's going to be able to turn out this year. So this might be the only carnival that we can talk about on the radio. So it's finally here. It's Sunday.
It's on a Sunday. It's going to be between 10 to 3:30, and it's a nice time, and it's a nice time where the kids, you can bring them and get their energy out and have a great time, and then go home and relax.
Perfect. Or there's a beach there. And you've already found parking. So bring extra stuff, and then when it's all done, and the kids still got some running around to do, and some playing in the sand to do, then right outside the doors and going and enjoy it. As I said, because you made the investment now in the parking.
Right,
don't
and
leave Tumon until
it's a great
late.
day for family.
Yeah, and the weather's supposed to be good. Mike says the weather is supposed to be good. So tell me a little bit more about what's going to happen once the doors open, the magical doors to this wonderland open up.
Well, we brought in a lot of different options for them. Of course, kids want to be as busy as possible, but we really wanted to relate to every single age category. So we have nonstop entertainment that's going to be going on, and then carnival booths on one side, just some fun games. And there's another area where there's a lot more hands-on activity that's going to be going on.
Is this the massive ballroom you're using?
Yes,
Wow.
we're using it, and then we're also using another portion of it where the food's going to be at, and we kind of divided that into half and added more stuff in there. And,
Wow.
And we have a lot of volunteers and people that just really want to help because, the Guam Family Justice Center Alliance wants to bring a victim center to Guam. We don't have one. We rank so high in our numbers, actually, pretty much second highest in the U.S. It's startling, and we don't have a victim center, and so the Guam Family Justice Center is the hallmark name that began at San Diego Family Justice Center that has reduced 95% of victimization in their area.
So how do we get something like that going here? I mean, other than programs like this, let's backfill this a little bit. So there's obviously a void. I remember when when there was a void in something as simple as we've got families with kids. Moms aren't talking to dads, and it's going to get ugly if they do. So mom drops off the kid at Erica's house, and dad picks up the kid, and then we reverse the process later in the afternoon or in the next day, so that everybody is in a safe and loving environment, and we don't necessarily have the conflict. I remember that part of that program many years ago, and it was something that, as it turns out, it wasn't that difficult to set up. It just needed some people to, put their shoulders into it, right?
Yeah, and that's a great setup. Erica's house is great, but this one actually will encompass more first respond advocacy groups, and then it also will lead to second and third response, and then pretty much afterwards. So as soon as the victim is victimized, they know where to go to. Lots of the times victims don't know where they're at. They don't know who to contact. Everything, victim of violence, burglary, sexual assault, you name it. This is going to be pretty much the hub zone of where it's going to be at.
So I'm glad you used that word, hub zone. So because there are programs out there, and some are big, some are small,
right.
Some are nonprofit, some are government, some are religious in nature, some are run by individuals, and so it would be the one-stop place where you say, this happened to me, and I'm having a hard time getting over it, and I need help.
Right, and this is where it's going to be at, and re-victimization is a huge word for us because we're in our system right now. We're re-victimizing our victims, which means they're telling their story over and over and over again.
And nobody's hearing.
And they're getting weaker and weaker, and eventually, just they're not healing. They're not able to be in that process of healing, and they don't know who to talk to. They're lost. They don't know where to go, and it's just because we're so jumbled up. And what's great about the Guam Family Justice Center Alliance is we've assisted in mapping out the victim process right now that as it speaks, but it's confusing. And so by bringing in a family justice center that specializes in victim response and gets them connected to all the other second and third response agencies, it just works because this model from San Diego is the hallmark model, and it's now available, just about in every state. And then it's also the world is taking notice of it, and now they're creating their own family justice centers in their area.
I'm reminded, and it might have been a conversation I had with you once upon a time, but I'm reminded of systems of care.
Yes,
and
very close to
using
that, yes.
using that as kind of a model here, and for folks that needed it needed to be something where you can go in and then get. I like the word that they use because it was relevant, and I think it still is, where they wrap around you and say, okay, we are going to identify the issue that you have, and then we are going to bring in all of the experts in all of the places where we need to direct attention on and focus on you. But understanding that there are still other parts of the system and the personal backup of family and friends that need to be brought in and made part of this wrap unit around the individual, in your case, the victim. So it's not just a question of being able to say, okay, we've got a problem, and we're going to talk to a rape crisis center, we're going to talk about the disease control, we're going to do that, but we're also going to find responsible people in your life that we can add to this wrap culture that we now need to build around you, so that you are whole at every stage of your recovery.
Exactly, and that also is being able to see second response victims, which is, if your child is raped, you become a second victim.
Sure.
So it's encompassing the family in a whole sense. So I can't tell you enough. We started out with Random Women's Rally, and eventually
till 10. We got plenty of time.
we started with Random Women's Rally, and eventually we just started to take notice as victims started to contact us, and it was like, where we're going, what do we do? I mean, the amount of stories and the amount of horrific stories just in the process of where the victims go and why isn't the victim informed, and just in the whole legality side, it's shocking to know that we are re-victimizing our victims, and it's constant over and over again.
It's shocking, but not unexpected, I think, because we understand that for many of these groups, organizations, government entities, whatever, we're asking them to do so much more with less. I mean, you talk about a first response from a fireman or a police officer, and you know how short we are on police officers, and frankly, they don't have the time. I know that they care, but they might not always have the time to devote the time and attention to a victim to start pointing them in the right direction. There's a secondary approach that somebody else needs to take, and I don't think we hired that second person yet.
We did kind of have it a couple of years ago. There was an FJC, because the Family Justice Center money comes out. It's actually a given money. I think close to $400,000 is given to a variety of different states, to include Guam. And I think at one time there was supposed to be an initial Family Justice Center, but it didn't pan out correctly, and probably because the actual development and the guidance in the process wasn't there, and that's what we see. And when we take a look at years past and what had went wrong, we realize that there's a lot of reasons why it didn't go right. But the people that were behind it are great people, because they really wanted to see it go somewhere, and maybe it's just not having the knowledge to get there. And so hopefully we now have that knowledge.
So there's best cases that we can look at, and other people have done this. So it's just a question of being able to take what they've got and then modify it for our experience here on Guam and our circumstances, and then roll it out. Obviously, it takes money, and that's why I'm going to take us back to the fundraiser here. It's going on Sunday at the Dusitani. Starts at 10:30 in the morning. How much to get in?
It's $40 for the ages between 3 to 12. That's our direct demographics as far as the event goes. And then the adults is $50. And then, of course, 2 and below is free.
And 2 and below is free. Okay. Got it. They don't eat a whole lot. Not like grown-ups. Not like teenagers, right? They charge double for teenagers because they eat a lot. But anyway, so all of this happens. And is there a punch list of activities that's going to take place? I mean, is there? You talked about the entertainment, things like that. So so blow by blow, what's going to be happening?
We have a variety of different entertainers to include.
Do you have Joe Guam?
I'm sorry?
Do you have Joe Guam? I thought Joe Guam is everywhere.
We have the magician Hank Rice that's going to be there. The Guam Dance Company, Guma Bula Guinaidza Hula Group. We also have.
Would you say this? Bula Doggin Guinaidza Hula Group? What
did I?
Not Bula Doggin. What did you say? Bula what?
Guma Bula Guinaidza Hula Group, and St. John's.
Now it's in your head, and you'll never get rid of it.
I know.
No, it's in her head. Poor girl.
And we also have Nihi, which is a great show for kids. They're going to be there too to showcase one of their shows. St. John's has a performance of the Batman and Robin that's going on right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, that's a big deal.
It is, and they're going to have a mini portion of it showcase it to us. So the kids are going to come over and volunteer and showcase it.
No, Batman, and you said
I
there's
watched
food.
it last night. It was amazing.
Was it good?
It's
based on the
off
60s,
old,
right?
Yes,
the 60s,
it's so
Adam
good.
West.
It's so
Okay.
good.
All right.
Yeah.
So I worry about that. I don't think the kids have a really, really good beat on who Batman was, because all of the modern Batmans are just a bunch of powders, and the old Batman, Adam West, did an outstanding job with that. For me, that's my James Bond Batman guy.
Yes.
That's the guy I always go to. so we've got a ton of entertainment that's going to be down there, and a ton of food that's going to be down there. Will I be able to buy a ticket and win something? Are there free prizes?
There are a ton of free prizes.
Yep.
The carnival booths are definitely on the house. We have a gal, Raina, who's going to be doing some hair braiding. We have the Phoenix Wrestling Clubs. They have
Hair braiding?
They have a LRP, which is
Michael.
Yeah, look at his hair, beautiful hair. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she'd like to get her hands on his hair.
So braid your hair, bring your voice up a couple of octaves here, right?
No, it don't do that, but at least it keeps the hair out of my face.
Good, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the Phoenix Club Leadership and Resiliency Program, and they're going to be creating masks on actual mannequins. And then if the kids wanted to paint it, they can do that too.
Oh, I see. So they put a mask together and then they give it to somebody?
It dries in like 5 minutes, and so they're going to be creating it. And then if you wanted to paint it and beautify it, however way you want, you can.
I was just thinking in my head, though, what a great for victims to be able to creatively put something on that mask, and just this is how I feel, this is how I want to feel, right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm the presenter for the LRP for the classroom, and what we do is we create two sides. It's how people see yourself and how you see yourself, and you talk about that. It's very rewarding.
I want the Tom Cruise mask then. Yeah. That's how I see it. I know it's totally different, right? Or the Tom Cruise, George Clooney, just pick one.
If that's how you see yourself, that's fine.
But then I got to do another one where how I think people see me.
Right.
Well, I don't want to do that one.
Right.
Not ready. I'm not ready to stare that demon in the face yet.
And they do it on them. So they do it on each other, and it's a great reward. It really is. But they're going to be there. They're going to be doing that too as well.
I love this.
Dancing and a costume competition. We definitely encourage costume. So that's going to be there too as well.
Our big family event, and a ton of people are going to be down there, and I want you to be down there as well. It's the Deuce It. It's Sunday. Find the parking and then get in there, and checks, credit cards, cash will be accepted on the way in.
Yeah, we're hoping we can get the credit card machine in, because of course we are a new organization, so we're trying to get that. So hopefully, cross our fingers.
Somebody will hook you up one way or the other. There's always a.
It's an important organization. We really need to get this done.
Lilian Guerrero is running for governor, so you might want to call her and chat with somebody over at the bank. She had a good day.
We're working on it.
She had a great day yesterday over at the gubernatorial forum. She might be willing to say, hey, call downstairs and talk to so and so, and they'll get you one of those square machines, and you will be good to go to be able to bring in some of the dough. Are there any other points that I've missed? Because we've gone down a couple of different rabbit holes on this. It's a fascinating organization that you're trying to stand up around here, and a fascinating event to drive funds and awareness for it. So I hope that you've got this massive success in front of you.
If there's one organization that needs help, it's definitely this one. We need it because our numbers are startling. But I do kind of want to point out our
your sponsors?
Our sponsors.
Oh, you should, yes.
Yeah, Ordot Dental Clinic has been awesome, and Giabella, and of course you guys, Choice Choice Broadcasting, and then TriVision, and we just have a ton of help from a lot of other people, and we're so appreciative.
Well, and we're happy to be a part of that team, and looking forward to the next big opportunity to help you serve the community with this Family Justice Center.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Karina Farron, and if you want details on this, then go to YouTube, and because we gave all the details, go to YouTube, and then later on you'll be able to scooch yourself back to where this interview started and hear it from the beginning in case you didn't. If you want more information and can't wait for YouTube, how do people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me at 482-0875, and then our tickets are sold at central locations of 76 Circle K gas stations.
Central locations.
The central locations,
Okay.
and that also includes Dedido, Sinhanya, and Barragata.
All right, so grab the tickets there and save yourself some door time. And we know that they take credit cards. So
Yes.
if you're worried about that and going, well, I don't think I'll have any cash on Monday or Sunday, but I know I'll have a credit card, then go ahead and take care of it over at 76 Circle K. The other thing that you need to know about 76 Circle K is if you want the hot dog without the bun, just ask. And that was the place I was talking about. It's a radical innovation in C-store sales and service. Karina, thanks so much for coming by. I know you're gonna hang out with the guys from the other radio stations a little bit later on, but thanks.
I'll be here later.
Thanks for checking with us first here on The Point. It's 9:26. We'll call that iConnect time. I can. We should. iConnect time in the studio is 9:26 in the morning. iConnect, where they want you to talk longer for less. Connect longer for less with their push-to-talk and mobile plans.
The Guam Family Justice Center Alliance invites you to the Children's Carnival Ball on Sunday, April 29 at the Dusitani Resort from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring the whole family for a fun-filled time with entertainment, games, and activities. Proceeds to benefit raising awareness and funding for the development of an official Family Justice Center on Guam. Tickets available at limited 76 Circle K stores. Come down to the Dusitani for the Children's Carnival Ball on April 29 for a magical time and a wonderful cause. Special thanks to Ordot Dental Clinic, Gia Bella, Trivision Media, SPPC Corp, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting.
Why pay for paper? Go paperless for $3 less. Move into e-billing and reduce your carbon footprint while enjoying an easier, faster, and more secure way to receive and view your bills. No more paper clutter or waiting for the mail. Go green and sign up today by checking out DocomoPacific.com or calling 688-CARE. Why pay for paper? Go paperless for $3 less. Docomo Pacific, better together.
Wait, I got to put my old man glasses on so I can... actually, no, I don't think I need this for that. I think I can do this one now off the top of my head. There is a new way that they're doing spicy chicken sandwiches over at Wendy's. Anybody can make a spicy chicken sandwich. You could make a spicy chicken sandwich, and it'd probably be all right. But if you want it done right, you want it done perfectly, then you go to Wendy's. So they start with the spicy chicken sandwich, and then they've got the... kick it up a little bit with some pepper jack cheese. They're also nuts about cheese at Wendy's. It's not just bacon. It's cheese as well. Pepper jack cheese. Now you're gonna want to cool things off a little bit, so they'll put some ranch dressing on it. And because they're nuts about bacon over at Wendy's, they'll put a slab of that in there and then crown it, finish it up with some avocado. And that's why they're calling it the new Southwest Avocado Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Like all of the good things that happen at Wendy's, this is only going to be around for a limited time, so stop by and check them out. And if you're one of those people that is pretending to be on a diet or you feel better when you eat salads, then you can also have it as a Southwest Avocado Chicken Salad today at Wendy's. Now that's better.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time isn't wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
Ago, I want to be sedated. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. You remember that old song? M80s used to do that at a place called the Rancho Grande in Mung Mung, behind where you're making your way behind. I was going to say the old Rainbow, but if you know where Rancho Grande was, then you'd know where the Rainbow was. Anyway, so there's a band from the late 80s, late 70s, early 80s that had a good time with punk jams like that. It's 9:30 in the morning, and I already did this massive setup about this deal up in Barragata Heights and Frank Blas, and I'm going to find out why there's Frank Truggan needs to find out why there's so much flooding going on down there, and yada yada yada. And finally get to the point where we're talking about some of the people that are lined up for some of these properties, these land trust properties up in Barragata Heights, and people looking at at it going, wait a second, we've got a member of the administration, we've got a sitting senator in there. The mayor and vice mayor of Barrigada also seem to have links to some of these Barrigada properties. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that, it's $1 a year or something like that for 1,000 years. And people are saying, wait a second, how did all of these manage to get bubbled up to, all having to be in the same place? I think Senator Lee uses the words correctly here. There is an appearance of impropriety, and because your name is on that list, you were calling on others to take a look and ensure that there was nothing inappropriate going on. Good morning, Senator Lee.
Hafaday, Ray. Hafaday, Guam. And I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to clarify. Please take it away.
I've gone through the basics on this a couple of times, and for the listeners, express your involvement, how your name got to be on that list.
Yeah, actually, so I had no knowledge of a lot of this information until this PDN story came out yesterday, and I'm pretty disappointed in the PDN for not at least reaching out to me to comment on this and just try to better inform their story. But this goes way back to 1995. So my mom filed an application with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission.
Yeah, lots of people did.
Yeah, so over 20 years ago, this happened, and she had completely forgotten about the fact that she applied. So when they called her, she was pretty surprised. They identified the lot, and then in October of 2016, before I was elected, my mom found out that her lease was approved. And prior to receiving this lease, my mom paid for the survey and the mapping and all of that stuff. So we got that squared away. And then at this point, she turns to me and she says, hey, I would like for you to use this for Mia and Nina, my daughters, her granddaughters. And so I am going to do the work and fill out the paperwork to transfer this lot into your name. And, I just want to be very clear that I didn't ever seek or request that any of the access road be built. I'm just now finding out who my potential neighbors could be.
Yeah, apparently. Well, how bad could it be? You got the mayor and the vice mayor.
Yeah, actually, the director of land management clarified that earlier this morning. Apparently, the lots that are set aside for the Mayor June Blas, are actually set aside for the holders of that position. So the mayor of Barrigada is receiving that lot for community purposes. So I think that they're trying.
So it's bestowed to her as not as the as it doesn't go as an individual. It's for the office.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I don't know enough. I can't speculate about any of the other lots. I just know the information about mine.
So why wouldn't they? Well, why would they list it as Junie Blas as opposed to Mayor of Barrigada or Mayor's office?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I can't speculate about that. But, I agree with what you were saying earlier. I think you're right. Everyone has to play by these rules, and especially when you hold a position of public trust, that's even more magnified. And so that's why I'm calling on the public auditor and I know that she in her role does program and performance audit. As well as the AG, who I think you had on earlier in your show.
Yeah, and I did not have the opportunity in the course of the discussion to bring this up. We had a limited time, and all of it was taken up by the conversation about her wanting to get a grant from the Department of Interior to see if there's something that can be done about increasing the odds that we will be able to get recompensed properly for the support that we give the migrant community here.
I see.
And so I didn't get a chance to ask her about this particular plight with the CLTC. I imagine that she's received the email from you asking for her involvement and her oversight on this.
Yeah, so, like you had mentioned earlier, I'm aware that there's this appearance of impropriety. And so I just want, in an effort to really promote transparency and make sure that everything's done above board, we have asked the OPA as well as the AG to conduct a full review of these leases and just make sure that everybody's following the law, the letter of the law, and if there's anything that if any errors in the process have occurred, then I'll do I'll do what I need to do to rectify that immediately.
Okay, and now I don't like guys that play the gotcha game. There was another question that I wanted to ask earlier in the week, and I didn't have the chance, and it has to do with an accusation about a possible violation of the Hatch Act involving an envelope that had been sent out of your office marked confidential, and in the contents of the envelope were tickets to a fundraiser. Are you aware that your fundraising tickets had been distributed to other Government of Guam agencies in such a manner?
No, I'm not aware of that. But yeah, if we can find out more information, I'll certainly get back to you.
Yeah, please, because there's somebody rolling around there that is doing this. Either you did it, and it doesn't sound like you did, or somebody is doing it on your behalf. And I think that might be a violation of the Mini Hatch Act. And there's a lot of accusations and finger pointing going on these days about people and their relationships to candidates and the candidates' relationships with other working members of the Government of Guam. And I'd hate to see this blow up into something it doesn't need to. So check around with the people that you've got that are rolling around with envelopes.
Right. Yeah, actually, we're in session this week, so we've been really consumed on that. We're actually, as soon as we come back in at 10 o'clock, we're resuming discussion on my Bill 250. So really kind of been focusing on all of that. We discussed Simon Sanchez yesterday. The past few days, we've been discussing Bill 204. So, yeah, all of those are kind of at the forefront of my mind. But yeah, let me get back to you on that, Ray. Thank you.
Yeah, it might be just somebody that's a little bit overzealous and unaware that's something that really could get you guys in trouble. Remind me, what's 250 again? What's the object of that one?
So we're increasing the H-2B fee. And so we've worked really closely with all of our stakeholders on this to include GCC, the
Department of
Labor, as well as the Guam Contractors Association. And they were able to give us some really constructive feedback. We were able to make some changes to the bill. And I'm really glad that we have all our partners on board. And we have about 11 co-sponsors to this bill. So this is an opportunity for us to really strengthen workforce development here on Guam. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're really looking forward to the passage of this bill.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen as quickly as we'd like. We know that we've got the authority to bring in a bunch of guys on NDAA projects, and apparently in the last few days there have been some contractors that tried to, as members of this class now that have been working through the process at the district court, they had apparently had some applications go through that were denied, and now the lawyers are looking to hold them in contempt. I hope that is not the roadblock that it looks like to get more labor out here to back up and to backfill some of the civilian projects that desperately need H-2 visa holders.
Yeah, that's my hope as well, Ray. But, that's completely outside of our control. So what I want to do is just make sure that once these applications start being processed and approved, that we're ready to go on our end.
No, I agree, but it won't be the big windfall that it could be if the USCIS would simply grant us the applications as they had before.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody got a job to do. Okay, listen, I'm going to let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Have a groovy weekend, and we'll see you in the votes on Monday.
Thanks. See you soon.
Okay. Regine Bisco-Lee, and there it is. They're her splains on what happened. Wasn't my property. It was my mother's property. She gave it to me. I didn't apply for it. It just, here's the property. And she just happens to be somebody. When it happened, she was not yet a senator. When the properties were bequeathed, and in fact, when the leases were approved, she was not a senator yet. 9:39 in the morning. This is the Ray Gibson Show. Let me see what's on Tomas's mind. Tom.
Hey, how you doing, my friend?
I'm okay. Just playing around with some of the issues. So we've had some great stuff to talk about this week.
Ever since Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse, I applied for that Samoro Land Trust lease way back then, and I still haven't gotten my lot yet.
Didn't Defunto Angel Santos have a sleep-in, a big camp out over at Antelope when Joe Addo was the governor, trying to get them to move forward on finally getting those leases done?
Yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, I was joking about that. That was 1865 when General Lee surrendered.
No, I get the point. I know guys. I used to work with guys, and at the time is 1995. There's young men that signed up. They're just fresh out of high school, first couple of years in college, and they met all the requirements. They went up there and stood in line like everybody else, got their name on the list, signed up, and since then have been and gone. And I think he's working on a grandkid now.
Yeah. Anyway. I am not an applicant of that summer land trust lease. I called about something else that I was listening to your conversation with the AG this morning.
Yeah.
About the compact migrants.
Oh, I saw you on the screen, but I'm sorry I couldn't get to you, but I've got you now.
Yeah. Anyway, there's something that we're not doing correctly here in Guam because there is a provision, a requirement, a condition in that compact agreement that the U.S. signed with those FSM nations that a migrant cannot just come over here to Guam, for example, or to any other place in the United States and start residing there. They can come to Guam, for example, and they are given 30 days to apply for admission into Guam or admission into any part of the United States. They got 30 days to do that. And within those 30 days, they got to be able to show proof that they have a means to support themselves and their families here and to make sure that they are covered as far as health insurance is concerned. But we are not vetting these people. We're just letting them stay here, and then we get stuck with their providing services to them for, since they cannot afford it. So we gotta vet these people, and we can send back to where they came from whoever cannot prove that they have means of support here. We haven't been doing that. That's why we keep getting stuck with these folks that cannot support themselves.
I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know who is the one that is supposed to be doing all of that vetting. Who is the one that is supposed to be writing everything down and saying, okay, Mr. Johnny Five, welcome to Guam. Do you have a job? No. Do you have a promise of a job? No. Are you going to school? No. Okay, well, you have to get back on the plane. I don't know who's supposed to be the one in charge of that, or if they say you've got 30 days to find a means of support. If you've got 30 days to get yourself enrolled in a program at the Trades Academy or GCC or UOG, who are they supposed to go back to? I think there is an outfit here that was put together by the federal government, but I think they're working with a private sector organization. And their job is to be kind of a one-stop so that when these migrants do come off the airplane, they've got somebody that will guide them to all of the resources that they need in order to fulfill the goals of their move.
The current administration that was the current governor at the time is what I was trying to say. When they signed that agreement, they should have informed the new governor that came in about that law.
I think that might have been Ricky Berdalio.
Nobody's talking to each other.
Well, yeah, I think that might have been Ricky.
Yeah, and they should have known about that also, about the law, because they were informed about it when the compact agreement was being negotiated. I'm sure the Department of Interior had already informed GovGuam that they are in negotiation with the FSM people.
I'd like to ask, and I'm going to table the conversation here, Tom, because the guy I need to talk to about this, that's done a lot of research and gotten to the ground on the genesis of all of these conversations is Frank Blas, and it's a little bit late for me to try to find Frank this morning, but maybe we'll revisit the conversation as we get a report from the Attorney General in the next few days about how she's coming along with this grant application.
But go ahead and get yourself very informed about the agreement, about the law involving that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've read the agreement. I've read the agreement. I don't remember that part. The part that stands out in my head, Moss, is the part where if they get sick, they're supposed to be taken to the Navy hospital.
Yeah, well, it's all in the internet. Just click in on Google, the compact agreement.
I'll do that. I will do that. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
Okay, Tommy, have a good weekend. My name is Ray Gibson. This is The Ray Gibson Show on The Point, 888-8255. That number again is 888-TALK. on your phone if you dial that way. I've got Joe on the phone. Huffalite Joe.
Mr. Ray.
I am.
The man before me, he's saying it right. When it was a perfect storm, our leaders, I think Governor Berdallo was in the middle of his legal issues. God rest his soul. And then I remember Governor Ada, he was big about what happened to all the tourist jobs for the local Guam residents. You know, they should, instead of Chamorro, land for the landless Chamorro, there should be jobs for the jobless Chamorro.
There's jobs there. Oh my God! There's. Can I just point out to you that there are jobs for the asking, but people need to get off their dogging and actually go and apply for these jobs.
My friend, and the thing is, but what you remember is that my elders, man, they had the resources, so they were hiring a lot of these compact impact migrants to do all kinds of, man, you know, our elders, right, they're big on, you better keep the property clean, and if you know, they're going to hire people to do it. And so that's why these people were getting jobs, because my elders were hiring them all over the damn place.
Well, but the problem is that the people from here decided that they didn't want to do those jobs anymore, and that, you know what, if I do nothing, then they'll put money in my Quest card just for applying for that. At least that's what the lady at Public Health says. So you get all these guys that moved themselves out of productive labor positions, and there were more than enough migrants that came in and filled those positions.
You know, they're good people, they're hardworking people. So you can't deny that. You see them do the hard work. So how can you argue with that? And then
Wait, can I tell you the part, Joe? Can I tell you the part that just tickles me endlessly? Is when I do the drive-through. I'm hitting the drive-through, and it might be McDonald's, it might be Wendy's, it might be Burger King, it might be any number of places where you're going to KFC, right? You got a drive-through situation, and you hear somebody speaking to you in perfect English. Just absolutely perfect English. The diction is all there. They sound like they'd be on the radio. And then you pull up, and it's, you know, it's somebody from Chuk or Pohnpei or Yap or someplace like that. And you go, wow, hey, you sound like you've been here all your life. And the chances are they have been here all their lives. They've begun to acclimate and found ways to conversate in the current vernacular, and they do it very well. It just tickles me.
They impressed our elders, and so our elders made good use of them. And so what it is we have to keep the relations going. We have to continue from where our elders left off and say, hey, look, we're going to continue this relationship, but there's got to be a mutual agreement and mutual respect here. And what's going on here is not when we're having a difficulty with the funding getting funding from the compact impact
reimbursement.
And, yeah, so that's what the point of contention is. Hey, look, we got like $1.5 billion territorial debt, and we need help here. And you know, I think this can be worked out. It's just we have to find a way to be respectful to each other, and say, hey, look, you were hired by our elders, and unfortunately they're too old, or they're no longer with us, and we're continuing this relationship. We just have to have a mutual understanding. And we'll continue that way.
Okay, so we don't get to have that conversation. That's not us. We're not in that room, unfortunately, Joe. And that's
Ray is who is representing us.
Nobody is representing us. There is no representative for Guam in the compact conversation. That is a treaty.
That's what we have to protest. We have to mobilize, go out and say, hey. And I'm sure the people from these places where that will deal with the compact impact, they must be they'll be understanding and back us up. Say, look, we need to have a seat at this table and say, hey, look, let's get some more of this reimbursement, so we can pay off this territorial debt, and we can continue to help each other.
We'll see what happens, because I've got no confidence that the federal government has any desires to see anything change.
We go to the federal government. We have to say, hey, man, come on, we mobilize. It's a movement here, so we understand we're on the same page here. And this is what we need in order to survive.
Right. No, I'm not disagreeing that point. I'm simply saying that they have had multiple opportunities since the beginnings of these compact treaties between the Federated States and others, and the federal government of the United States, to do right by the people of Guam. And Domenech was in town. He's in the neighborhood now. I think he's still around here with the governors and everybody up in Saipan, and dodged the bullet on the conversation, because he came in with a check for $6 million for Parks and Rec, and as far as I'm concerned, kind of bought his way out of it. That, in my mind, is a pittance against what credit we have built up in this conversation with the federal government. So that's where I am on that. Hey, Joe, I got to take a break here before it gets to be the top of the hour, so we're going to hit the button on the commercials. I'm going to come back and wrap up the show and let you know what I think are going to be the big deals for the weekend.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manilao on Route 10. Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manilao. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
I'm a working mom and could really use more hours in my day. Thankfully, my non-electric Connecticut water treatment system has simplified my life. It's easier to clean my home with Connecticut conditioned water. No more scrubbing tubs or wiping water spots. Cleaners work better and last longer. And all the Connecticut drinking water we want is right here. No more lugging home bottled water. All this, and I'm saving money too, thanks to Connecticut.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
.52, the radio station is called The Point, 93.3, and the idea here is that we try to get to the point and try to show you where the point of the conversations are. And sometimes I'm able to spot them just like that. You know, here it is. Here's the thing. And then other times it takes me a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance from people like you that are listening and reaching out to me. And sometimes you reach out to me with the phone, and that's fine, 888-8255. And then there's other times where, they jump into my life with emails. RayGibsonShow@gmail.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me for those of you that are connected that way. A lot of everybody else likes to do this for, what's the correct way of saying this? Using social media. And there's another easy way to get a hold of me, and it's simply just hitting me up at Facebook, either as Ray Gibson or on the Point.gu Facebook site. You can send letters and emails and tell me I got it wrong or tell me I got it right or I'm getting really, really close or whatever it is that you got to do. I cannot read all of the emails on the air, but I guarantee I'll read all of them. Even the ones where you write, and if you, there's a guy that does this, right? And he'll write me like a page of stuff, multiple paragraphs, and there'll be citations and links to stories. And then, sometimes my response is something as simple as, thanks.
Yeah.
And if I just write you back, if it just thanks, then it's probably a good sign that I'm reading it in the bathroom. The seat of learning, if you will. And I don't like to sit there and type. That's not a good place for writing back long things to people.
No, and it's not good for sending voice messages either.
No.
There's echo. There's an echo.
And people know exactly where you are. They'll know exactly where you are. So I want to thank everybody, primarily in the government of Guam, and criminals for giving us so much to talk about this week. And this has been a great week for time. I don't know about you, but it's like every day there has been something cool for us to talk about. So I want to say thanks very much for Fernando Estevez at the Guam legislature for giving me one of the first stories I got to chew on this week, which was the unnamed developer that's got some property. Sounds like they're down in Babulao. And it looks like they've got some property, and what they want to do is they want to build up this property, but at the end of it, be able to take off $2 million in exchange for building the development. And I asked around, and nobody's got any memories of any of the other developers being able to make a claim against their taxes for putting in, I don't know, roads for your development or power poles for your development. I get the idea that, people are going to use the roads, maybe an ambulance or a fire department or a policeman might one day go up and down the road, but it seems to me that that's part of the cost of your development. And if I swear I will howl shenanigans if this thing passes over at the legislature, because it seems to me that if that's something, then everybody needs to be able to do it, and it shouldn't be something that becomes a program of the legislature as much as it needs to be vetted by GITA. I know, and GITA was in the news a couple of times, right? As Jay Rojas, and how many miles he was able to rack up, and how many he did as Jay Rojas, the person, versus Jay Rojas, the director at GITA. But the other reason that the GITA came up was the guys over at the Guam Memorial Hospital have guests in town. It's unexpected. It's the guys from CMS. They're the ones that reimburse us for Medicare, Medicaid expenses that are racked up by patients over at Guam Memorial Hospital. Normally, they'd just send a couple of people, kind of look around, everything okay? Peter John, yeah, okay, shoot, see you later. They'll be at the beach, gonna hang out at the beach bar, have a $7 beer, right? That's what goes on normally. They came in this time, apparently, 7 members on the team. And, yeah, we're going to kind of look at everything. Now, when I talked to Peter John about it, he was groovy. He was like, no, I know these guys are going to be all right. The JACO guys were here before, and we're working through that, and the CMS guys are here now, but I think we're going to be all right. So he's all groovy. But the guys, maybe just one guy over at the Guam Medical Association lost his mind on this. They just, boom, oh my God, CMS guys are out here, and we know what a shambles GMH is going to be in, and we're going to lose the CMS accreditation, and this is an emergency, and GMH needs money, and they need an infusion of cash right now. They need $30 million to come from GITA and whatever monies they've got in Joe Rojas's travel fund, and $10 million needs to come from the Tourist Attraction Fund. They were going to have a meeting of the GMA at the legislature the other night. That didn't happen. Other members of the Medical Association, I think, said, whoa, calm down, son. Easy. Breathe. Easy. Anybody got a paper bag? Or just breathe in the paper bag, and let's stop hyperventilating on this one. And they put the kibosh on that. They might still, though, depending on what it is that we find with the CMS, the big elephant in the room, they might still, though, come back and say, oh, yeah, it was as bad as he said it was going to be. So maybe we do need to get that $30 million, that $10 million. So I don't know. We got that. That was an interesting story. The one I think that might stay with us for a little bit longer, in fact, they're still making busts on this, is they made a bust of a bunch of people in a couple of apartment buildings and condos that were selling spice. Now, never mind the idea that the busted for dealing spice, and frankly, spice was something that you could buy at a head shop a couple of years ago before they made it illegal, right?
Yeah.
But it was the age of these guys. Now, I like to run around, brag, and go, hey, I'm 55 years old, be 56 on the 11th of May. Remember that. So I like to do that. But, and pretend like perpetrate like I'm an old man.
Right.
These are old people. They were 62, 63 years old that were involved in this.
They're people that we say sir and ma'am to.
What the heck is that? How does something like that have? How screwed up does your retirement plan have to be, where you say, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this. I got a Breaking Bad here with Spice, because that's what it was. There's a bunch of people in their 60s got no idea how to retire, and the only clue that anybody could give them was, I don't know, find some spice and sell that to your neighbors, and they did, and they got busted.
It's Jesus Day.
It's going to be Jesus Day in a couple of days. So we got a couple of things that are at the top of my head right now. There's running tomorrow in Agana. There's running tomorrow at EPOW, and then there's running on Sunday early in the morning from Agana. That's the one that I'm going to key in on, because that's the COP run, the Thin Blue Line run. So wish all those guys and girls good luck to all of you that are going to be running. I'll be watching out for you. It's 9:59 and change. The radio station is KUSG. Hagutnya. This is the point. For Kevin Kerrigan and Mike Knight and everybody, this is Ray Gibson. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, Guam.
Explaining the exoneration. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Former FBI Director James Comey